Yo, what's going on, guys? Happy Sunday. I did not think that Eddie Hearn would not, or one of his fighters would not beat Frank Warren. I thought there was at least 2 to 3 fighters that would win. I thought Philip Hrgovic would, even though I'm not the biggest believer in Philip Hrgovic, I needed to see more for Daniel Dubois in terms of just mental focus, right? Daniel Dubois tends to, he's a pretty good boxer. He's got good, respectable pop, but he does waver when things don't go his way and the going gets tough. He will cop out. When he was having success against Usyk, he got a little discouraged when he landed that body shot that he thought was legal. It turned out to be a little, beneath the borderline. But regardless, ever since that Usyk defeat, he's gone and defeated Miller by knockout, and then he stopped Philip Hrgovic. Just a great job from Daniel Dubois. I was really proud for him. He was a live dog in this fight. I just had to see it to believe it, essentially, right? I thought Raymond Ford would be big and strong for Nick Ball. But Raymond Ford, he's got to stop trying to look cute, right, with his punches. Like, bro, sit down on your punches. Stand your ground and fucking let your combinations fly. Enough with the little jab, little touch stab to the stomach. Like, bro, throw some fucking haymakers, right? I felt like had he just pieced together some beautiful combinations, stronger uppercuts, I thought he would have been able to knock out Nick Ball. He did hurt Nick Ball a couple of times, but again, just output. Nick Ball has balls. He lives up really to his name. He's willing to throw 5 or 6 punches to land 2. And Raymond Ford just didn't want to punch in between. It wasn't necessarily nothing to do with the weight cut. That's just how Raymond Ford fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how he fights. I've seen him time and time and again where, he, like Adrian Broner, when Broner was at 130, they had a minimal output of punches. Right? They don't throw a lot. When they do throw a lot, you see the hand speed, you see the power, but it's like, I don't know how these guys go about training, but guys got to throw more punches. And I think Raymond Ford came up short. I thought Nick Ball did win. But, Raymond Ford is, he's got a bright future. He's going to do a lot of great things. But I felt like had he just sat on his punches, throw the combinations, throw hard shots, rather than just like jab, touch to the abdomen, I felt like, Nick Ball deserved that victory. Hopefully, Ray Vargas will try to unify against Nick Ball. I think that would be a really good fight. And it'll be for unification. If Nick Ball doesn't want to go that route or Ray Vargas, hopefully my boy Ruben Villa gets that Ray Vargas call. Talking about local kids, Ruben Villa is going to be fighting soon. Like around the second week of July. I don't really know what Top Rank has in store for Ruben Villa. I think they signed him to a 3 or 4 fight deal. This is the 4th fight of that contract. And I don't really know what to think about it. Like I feel like they're fighting the same 4 repetitive style of fighters with same records, right? Ruben Villa, ever since his defeat to Emmanuel Navarrete, is basically on a 4-fight win streak. A couple of fights by stoppage, mostly the big ones on, decisions. But he's fighting on July 13th, right? And he's going to be fighting Suleiman Segawa. Never heard of this guy. Okay, but he sports a record of 16 wins and 4 losses. The last fighter that he fought in Texas, Corpus Christi, he fought Christian Cruz Chacon, 22 wins and 6 losses. Prior to that, he fought Brandon Valdez, 15-3. And in Stockton, he fought this dude that was 16-4, right? So he's basically fighting the same level of competition. Now, I'm glad that Top Rank is keeping Ruben Villa active, right? That's a recipe for success, and they're trying to give him confidence. But I just feel like, Ruben wasn't too far removed from the Emmanuel Navarrete victory. Obviously, he needs much more power, much more speed and much more combination punching. But if it wasn't for those two knockdowns, he's basically pitching a shutout, right? I thought he would have beaten Emmanuel Navarrete had he not been dropped. Now, obviously, we realize that Emmanuel Navarrete has amazing punching power, north of 130 pounds. At 122, 126, he was really long, rangy. And I imagine that, he hit like a mule. Where at 135, he still carries that power, but it's not that type of, riveting force that he once was south of 130, as he previously just lost to one of them fighters from the Ukraine that was like 36 years old. But regardless, man, Ruben Villa is going to be fighting, so hopefully he comes out with a victory, and then he gets a title shot. Maybe later down the year around Christmas time, he gets another fight, and it's maybe against Ray Vargas. I know Top Rank has a couple of champions at 126, right? They have Luis Alberto Lopez. Obviously, they can probably negotiate well with Nick Baugh. And then they have Rafael Espinoza. I think those are some pretty good fights where Ruben Villa can become a champion. But, instead of having whoever it is that he's fighting next in between that guy, Suleiman Segawa, I would have liked to see Ruben Villa fight, Robeisy Ramirez. Why not a Robeisy Ramirez? It just makes sense. Two Olympians, you can sell that. But I don't know, man. Top Rank has they're really slow rolling the process of Ruben Villa. Maybe they notice something when they watch him in open sparring. Maybe they're seeing their performances and they're like, he's not ready yet. Obviously, these guys have amazing matchmakers and they've been in the business for such a long time. And they're smarter than me. But, for the sake and purposes, I don't feel like fighting these same repetitive guys with the same or less record is going to really make Ruben Villa grow. If he can beat Robeisy Ramirez, he can become a champion, right? But fighting these guys, I don't know if he can become a champion because you're fighting essentially, with no disrespect, the same recycled fighters. It's like, where do you keep finding these guys? And Ruben isn't really knocking them out. And he's having a lot of tough fights. But anyway, man, it's neither here nor there. My boy Jorge Maravillo, another local kid, he's going to be fighting Jose Manuel Gomez, believe next week on a Friday in the Tom Loeffler card. Tom Loeffler is the ex-promoter of Triple G. So that should be really exciting. Hopefully he continues to go with his knockout streak and score another victory. It'll be really interesting to see where these fights happen. Over the weekend, man, going back down to it, Frank Warren just pitched a shutout against my boy Eddie Hearn. Or should I say War Speed's Eddie Hearn, man. Eduardo Hearn could not catch himself a victory. Now, I've always had this, perception that Eddie Hearn's fighters aren't really that good. And I feel like they can lose at any given time. But I was really impressed with the grit and the toughness of these Frank Warren fighters that he put on display last night, right? Obviously, Big Bang Zhang and Deontay Wilder, that was going to be a close fight. Essentially, whoever lands their first punch, their strong punch is going to win. And yeah, man, Deontay Wilder's a shot fighter. He doesn't have confidence in his right hand anymore. And honestly, he's never really beating a top fighter, right? Maybe you can say King Kong Ortiz, but aside from that, Deontay Wilder's done. Obviously, there's still big fights that he can have. He can fight guys like, I don't know, Michael Hunters of the world. He can fight Richard Torres. Hell, even Anthony Joshua, But Deontay Wilder's done. Yeah, he's done. He's not seeing the punches. He's slapping with his punches. He's not growing as a fighter. His punch tolerance isn't the same. That confidence that he once had in the Alabama slammer right hand, he just don't have it no more. He's done. He should literally retire, but again, money talks, and there's a lot of big fights that he can have. He can still fight Anthony Joshua, get knocked out, and still piece more than 10 million plus per that fight. I want to go to a little sidebar real quick. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, whenever the lack of negotiations that they had, 6 years ago, it came to bite them in the ass. Now both of them don't have an undefeated record. None of them became undisputed, and they fumbled the bag respectively, both ways. I don't care if it's his fault or her fault. It don't really matter. They both fumbled the opportunity. And obviously Joshua's a little younger than Deontay Wilder, so he can still become undisputed. But that aura back then of that magnitude of the fight, USA versus the UK, man, it would have been something magnificent. But yeah, regardless, man, the mighty have fallen, and essentially Deontay Wilder's done. Right? We've known he's always been flawed. We know that, but now it's much more evident. The flaws of not listening to Mark Breland, right? And not taking accountability and not growing as a fighter and especially as a boxer came to bit him in the ass. Kind of like you rookies Gamboa. See, when you're young and you're athletic, you can rely on your athleticism, your speed, to evade punches. But if you don't correct those flaws, that speed is going to wane. Your punch tolerance, your competitive factor is going to drop a little bit or a lot. And eventually you're going to become like Roy Jones Jr. He always fought with his hands down low. See, when you're young, you can get away with that shit. But when you get older and you don't really understand the basic fundamentals, or you never honed or relied on them, when you try to do that when you're older, it's just not going to work. Like Gamboa, like Roy Jones Jr., like Deontay Wilder, they didn't really care about being they always relied on their athleticism. And now as they gotten older and their speed isn't the same, they can't see the punches. They're done. They're just done. Yo, what's going on? Drew, 123. Are you down below? Yes, you are. Let me invite you in, man. But yeah, man, Deontay Wilder is done. Raymond Ford was a competitive bout. And Frank Warren, man, he will always have bragging rights over Eddie Hearn forever. Holy
Well,
fuck.
not if they make a
10-0,
second part
bro.
two. What's that?
10-0, man. He pitched a fucking shutout. Drew,
Yo,
what happened, bro? What happened to Eddie Hearn and his fighters, man?
man, honestly, man, fucking, you seen how hard it was, um, for Eddie Hearn to really talk up big game about these fighters, right? Like there's some fighters that he was promoting genuinely, and I think one of those guys was Raymond Ford. I
Yeah,
think he really did have big. He still does, like he's really he was the bigger man. So like they got plans to move up. Raymond Ford is still a great fighter. It was a really close fight. He just kind of played with his. I wouldn't say play with his food too much because he didn't really have it figured out. I think when you have it figured out and you're kind of just holding off on what you could do, that's kind of considered like playing with your food. But I think Raymond Ford was trying to fill him out and trying to like see if he was gonna die down, and I think that was like a bad game plan when it came down to him. I think he needed to I think he needed to just you know box like how he usually does and not really hold off on his like potential in the fight because he kind of gave up too many rounds, early rounds, to
yeah,
where he put himself in the bad position to come back in the fight, and that's and against a Nick Ball, once he kind of once he kind of has you feels like he has you beat as far as like the cards and stuff, he's gonna do what it takes to win by points. uh, and he's not really, they're both not knockout punchers, so I knew this thing was gonna go the distance, or I had a good feeling. I didn't know anything about this fight. Like this fight was hard to judge, but before the fight, it's hard to tell what was gonna happen and stuff. But
yeah,
I think I think Nick Ball is a really good fighter. He's not no knockout puncher or anything like that. He has good punch resistance, and yeah, man, I think when it comes down to that fight, that was like one of the fights that Eddie Hearn was like, okay, this is like the one I'm actually, gonna win. Because I don't know if he really thought that big of game, thought that big of highly of Deontay Wilder. That Deontay Wilder fight, I mean, it was kind of predictable. We knew that was gonna happen, especially how it happened. Like it was like a very amateurish knockout. Like the way he just turned around. It's like that's just not what you're supposed to do.
yeah,
That's what you're taught not to do before you're even going pro. You know, just the way he just turned around, and then who knows what the hell he was trying to do? Like, was he trying to get the ref's attention and be like, "Oh yeah, like you can't do that"? Or I was kind of confused there because he does that a lot. He'll talk to the he'll talk to the ref whenever he's like hurt, you know, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But that's when it kind of caught up to him, and the other fights, I mean, God, man, Hamza's that dude, bro, and he's from the the other side of the pond. So Eddie Hearn been knowing about this guy, and I'm pretty sure he just kind of felt like Ammo Williams was going to be a hard fight for him, which he kind of was. But I mean, um, Hamza just kind of his IQ. He has a really good IQ. He knows how to break a fighter down. He doesn't act them off emotions. So I'm pretty sure Eddie didn't really think too much of that. Like you know, it was really just the Nick Ball fight. What were the other fights? Oh yeah, Daniel Dubois and Filip Pergovic. I think Filip Pergovic fight. I think he probably thought in the back of his mind that's another easy dub right there. Not easy dub, but another knockout. 2 points for me at least, or 1 point at least. And yeah, dude, that was another upset right there. A lot of people had it come. Not a lot of people, but it was kind of split. But I heard a lot of rumblings about Daniel Dubois and stuff like that. So that was one that was like a shocker for Eddie Hearn right there. And what was the other fights? Pretty much named all of them. I think
Yeah,
the
he pretty much named all
Tyson.
of them, man.
Yeah,
Bivol.
yeah. So Eddie Hearn didn't really. Pretty sure he felt like he was gonna have a close one as far as the points go against Matchroom. I mean, against Frank Warren. I think he didn't really think he was gonna actually win. Like the and it's really what, $6 million, $3 million that they were gonna win on in favor of whoever won the by points. But I don't think Eddie Hearn thought he was gonna do like a shutout. I think everything just kind of worked towards Frank Warren's way, bro, and he needs to do better at actually picking, a better squad because in reality, it affected their paycheck. Not their guaranteed paycheck, but their, a bonus, and that's a huge, huge incentive, and you can feel it. I was watching the post press conference, and everyone kind of made it about that. Made it about us winning, beating Matchroom, and it's like, okay, these guys were really like in it to win it. They were really trying to get that money, obviously. And 600, I think we did the math yesterday. It was like half a mil to 600,000 for per fighter. So that's a chunky paycheck right there. I'm not sure how the other how that translates to currency in their countries, but it's a lot of money out here in the States, So I like the format. I love the format actually. It can be promotion against promotion or country versus country.
Yeah.
For me, I think it would be a lot better country versus country, but I love it. I like this. It's brand new. It's fresh. It's a fresh new format and I like it. I love it.
Yeah, man, I would agree. What did you think of Dimitri Bivol?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Dmitry Bivol. Oh man, I liked it. This was it was a did we talk about it yesterday? I don't think we did.
No.
Um, no, we didn't. So, dude, Bivol showed a little bit more more dog in him. Like his opponent was pissing him off a little bit. He was mocking him a little bit, and he was like a last minute replacement. I think like what, a month or less. And this guy came in to win. He gave him a hard time, but Pavol just stays composed, man. That guy stays composed, and then this guy got under his skin, started talking big game, but like you seen that highlight where he kind of like put his forehead, they're shoving each other's forehead towards each other. And like if you do that, like if you ever done that, it's kind of about like it still kind of fucking hurts, like when you're putting your skull against another man's skull, like so you could see Bavol applying more pressure. He was like, Yeah, fucker. I'm gonna get you back, and that's something that I've never seen out of Bavor. And I think literally like the next round after that, bro, like I seen something that I didn't haven't really seen in a minute. I've seen him go out like that in spurts, like he was just relentless. Once he seen an opening, he just kind of didn't stop. I think his last previous fights, he would stop and kind of be more cautious, and this one, he was just kind of like, I'm gonna fucking finish you. That's what the bookies had it. I'm not sure if there was pressure for him to get the knockout because he's had what, 9 straight fucking decisions. So you know, maybe that was, what was behind his mind, but the guy made it easier for him to do it. He got under his skin, pissed him off, something that I've never seen before. And I like it. I like it. I like you know, he's really composed, right? He can't really communicate because he speaks another language. He's halfway there kind of with his English, but it's hard for him to express himself. So, uh, last night, or yeah, yesterday, you seen that, little dog in him, and that's kind of what we need more of, because he's a hard dude to stop when he's like relentless, like that. So uh, that dude was game. Like, he had a good jab. He was a big dude, but yeah, and I don't think he was like actually hurt. He was just getting tagged, and he couldn't. And Bivol just didn't stop, So Bivol can stop a lot of dudes when he's doing spurts like that, because he's in and out. And I seen a whole nother level of Bivol when he's mad. Like, I was kind of impressed. I was like, damn, like, so you kind of did see that in the Canelo fight, but it was kind of like in spurts. He knew Canelo was gonna come back with the bomb, so I think that was the difference. And he's too careful against fighters that he should actually be knocking out. So I think it's more of a game plan when it comes down to Bivol. I think he's really is capable of knocking dudes out, because it showed last night.
He got hit a lot.
He did get hit a lot.
So imagine
He
if
get hit a
that's
lot,
Artur Beterbiev punches.
but he doesn't have that speed jab. It's that was a that he had that dude had a fast jab.
Yeah, he had fast jab and long arms. Yeah, Archer's got
Yeah.
relatively short arms, but I will say this, man.
And it's okay, jab. It's not that fast, but it's
He's
not as
got good
fast as this
timing,
guy.
though.
This guy had a sniper jab, bro. It was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's gonna be a very interesting fight. I would favor Bivol mainly because when
Yeah,
Archer does come back and fight, it'll be over a year layoff, and he's coming off an injury, bro. Right?
exactly.
He's
Yeah.
going to be coming off surgery. And much like Tim Tszyu making a quick turnaround versus Virgil Hunter, Tim Tszyu had to postpone, right? Because that big ass gash that he suffered from the elbow of Sebastian Fundora, it didn't heal fast enough for this August fight that was supposed to happen in down south of California. With that being said, Tim Tszyu had to withdraw, and now they're looking for a replacement for Virgil Ortiz. Ryan Garcia said he'll step up to the plate, but Ryan right now is just capping, bro. He's saying like, man, I'll fight everybody because he knows he's gonna get suspended. But it looks like tough talk and like, hey man, Ryan Garcia was willing to fight anybody down the road. This guy's got some major balls. But the reality is like, bro, it's like, don't get nobody's hopes up because you're going through litigation, and that can take years. It can take
Mhm.
months. And with that being said, there's that WBC interim champion that just beat Brian Mendoza, right? Sergey Bohachuk. And that's supposed to be for Virgil Ortiz. If I'm not mistaken, that's the Bohachuk that we watched on the undercard of Tim Tszyu Fundora. And I don't know, man. I think if that's the last minute replacement, Virgil's gonna lose, bro. You know, I just feel like
Wow.
with Virgil, I like Virgil, bro. But it's just like,
Bohacek. Bohacek. I'm trying to think of that name.
is that the guy that beat Brian Mendoza?
Oh, you're talking about that guy.
I
The
mean, I
guy that
could be
was.
wrong. That could be a different person, but is that the guy? No, that's the guy who's 23-1 that beat Brian Mendoza on the undercard.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will say
Okay.
this:
Now I remember.
Bohachuk has lost one time, bro, and he got TKO'd in 8 rounds by Brandon Adams.
Mm,
And I don't know too much about Brandon Adams, to be honest with you. I think we
that'll
might have
be.
seen him fight maybe Jamal Charlo one time. But yeah, man, it's gonna be very interesting to see what Virgil Ortiz does. Hopefully, they can give him another fight to come back for another tune-up. But again, Turkey Al Sheik, for the more or less, he does put on bangers. It's just unfortunate that all of his fights tend to be pay-per-view. But regardless, man,
Yeah,
it's always a stacked card. So I'm pretty sure Bohachuk is going to get the call for Virgil Ortiz. It's a pretty much a high-profile fight for Bohachuk, and I think Bohachuk will be Virgil, man. To be honest with you, like we kind of talked about it in the past, when Robert Garcia has expectations as a trainer with his top fighters, he comes up short. I think he's gonna come up short with Virgil Ortiz, man. But we'll see. I'll be
yeah,
rooting for
that's a good
Virgil,
fight.
of course, but I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
gonna work for his favor.
And when are they gonna fight?
I think it's on the undercard of Terrence Bud Crawford
Oh,
versus
got you.
that 10-0 prospect.
That's a
Um,
solid replacement right there.
I
That's
think,
pretty much the same caliber,
yeah.
not same caliber as Tim Tszyu, but this guy's relentless, man. This guy gave Brian Mendoza issues, made Brian Mendoza use his footwork a lot more. Um, and he beat Brian Mendoza. So man, this guy could be Virgil Ortiz, man. Honestly, I
Yeah.
can see it now. I can see it now because all these, he's Ukrainian, right? So all these Ukrainians, man, I'm there's so many of them. I'm starting to lose track of names now. You know, I'm serious. Like they're having like there's like a renaissance coming. Like something like there's something going on, bro. You know, um,
I mean, they,
like
they
with
have a they
European
have a little,
fighters.
they have a little bit of fighters coming over. Obviously there was that 35, 36-year-old that beat Emmanuel Navarrete, but that dude's not going
Hmm.
to amount to much. And Lomachenko beating George Kambosos, I mean, we kind of predicted that. We called it that he would win and beat him by knockout. And then Usyk beating Tyson Fury again. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've always said that Tyson Fury sucks, bro. Not
Yeah,
to
yeah,
downplay that importance of the victory. I just feel like there's a reason why Tyson Fury has pandered and moved around certain and circumvented certain fighters in the heavyweight division. And honestly, I didn't think that fight versus him and Usyk was close, man. I thought, 8-4 plus a knockdown. Um, I only thought that he won between like 4, 5, 6, and 7 rounds. That's it. But regardless, man, aside from that, there's not that many Ukrainian fighters coming over. But yeah, Bohachuk versus Virgil would be a really good fight. Um, that is a really stacked card. And then
Hmm.
obviously it's headlined by Terrence Crawford and Madrimov, and that should be a really interesting fight. I don't know if
Hmm.
Madrimov is ready. Obviously, Errol Spence's performance, it's very easy to look better than Errol Spence against Bud because the bar was set so low of Errol. Errol fucking dropped the goose egg on that fucking fight night. So I'm sure that Madrimov, he's going to be much more competitive and bigger. So he'll give Bud Crawford a couple of good rounds, but we'll see, man. I don't
Yeah.
think 10 fights that he's had in his pro career. Rumor has it that he was training or being Dimitri Bivol was the main sparring partner in preparation for that Canelo Alvarez fight. So
Hmm.
maybe he's really
Well,
game.
guess
But
I don't think we've. I don't think I've told you this about that fight. I haven't told you what I think about that fight. Upset alert, bro.
you think he's gonna beat Bud Crawford?
I think he beats Bud Crawford on points.
Why
I
do you
think
think that?
because he's consistent. He's consistent with his combination punches, and he switches it up as well. And he's a full-fledged 154 pounder. He's not the best 154 pounder, but I do think Terrence Crawford, uh, will hit a bump in 154. Like I always felt like him taking on Jermel wasn't really it meant he was getting his belt, like he's beating if he fought him, he would have beat him, collected all the belts. But I just didn't never really thought Jermel was the best 154 pounder. And I'm not saying Madrimov is either, because it's all about styles when it comes down to 154. But I do feel like Madrimov um is one of the the better 154 pounders like on the planet, bro. And um I do think his IQ is pretty solid. and he has a great fucking chin, and he has good fucking footwork. And I'm like, dude, a young, hungry dude like this, and
Yeah.
I see a lot of like consistency. He is consistent, and I'm not saying his style is the same way, but he's consistent like a Jeff Horn. You know, Jeff Horn is super consistent. He can get hit a lot, but Madrimov is a cleaner, more polished version of Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn was a teacher and doing boxing at the same time. Madrimov has been doing this since a little boy. You know, so it's embedded embedded. I don't even know how to fucking say it. You know,
Embedded in him.
embedded in his mind. Boxing is. You know, so I see it, bro. Like he's really polished. He reminds me of a Triple G. I mean, I think we've already said he's like a baby Triple G, and he actually has a solid fucking jab, bro. He has a
Yeah,
really
no,
solid jab. But the thing
yeah.
is, when he gets connected, I was watching this his previous fight, and he was getting connected a lot, but he was paused. Like he was like pausing a lot, seeing what he was thinking too much, you know. Um, but I think if he doesn't think, like if he doesn't overthink shit, and just is a consistent man, I think he has a solid chance of beating Bud on points. I don't think he knocks him out because again he thinks too much, you know, and he doesn't have that mentality to break you down. He is truly just trying to win like on points. Like he doesn't look to hurt you. The other guy just punched hard. Um, and he allowed himself to get punched too much but he was consistent though. The guy that he knocked out doesn't get knocked out previous in his previous fight. He doesn't get knocked out, but he was consistent enough for the ref to be like, hey, that's enough, stop, you know. So I think his consistency and that's what kind of Bivol did to Canelo. He was consistent, you know, and he kept that same energy throughout the rounds. I think Madrimov is gonna be able to do that even in the later rounds. Like there ain't no filling this guy out. Like you gotta go for the kill. I can see Terrence Crawford getting the knockout too, by the way. But like if it's a decision, then I'm gonna have to see Terrence Crawford have literally like the best fight of his night of his life. You know. So the Madrimov is no pushover, bro. I am not betting on this fight unless it's on Madrimov by decision.
Yeah, no, no, man. It's those are some very pretty big points, man, that you're making. Um, all I have to say is like I have to see it to believe it. I'm not saying that Majimov doesn't have potential. Yeah, he has potential. You know, he's relatively young, but he's got 10 professional fights. Has he suffered a cut? Has he had a bounce back performance where, he hasn't looked so good in one fight, then comes back and looks amazing? Has he been down in the fights, in any of his fights, and then come back and have a late stoppage? Has he had to adjust from game plan A, B, and C, and then resort to game plan D and improvise on the fly? And the reality is, he's had 10 fights, you know, and I don't know if he has that much experience. Now, I know a couple of the fighters that he's faced, like Michel Soro and Kurbanov, but I don't think too highly of Kurbanov. Michel Soro, has some performances that he's good and others that he's not. He reminds me of Gongora. Gongora beat one of Triple G's fighters on the zone a few years back. But going back to Kurbanov, I don't think too highly of Kurbanov. I think he's a decent little fighter, but nothing too special. And he's Israel Madrimov. He looks to be the goods, but there's a reason why Terrence Bud Crawford was okay with fighting you. There's a reason that you mentioned Jeff Horn. Now this is really similar to what happened when Bud Crawford first moved up to the welterweight division. He waited for Jeff Horn, who just beat Manny Pacquiao, right? Jeff Horn, had the fight was taking place in Australia, and he did his best impression to copy Manny Pacquiao. He bullied Manny Pacquiao. I thought he lost to Pacquiao, but regardless, it was a close fight. Jeff Horn had a lot of good movement in that fight too, copying Manny Pacquiao's in and out, Jackrabbit like, in and out movement, boom, 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 boom. And he was really big. Madrimov might just be a little bigger than Bud Crawford, but Madrimov he's very wide. He's a big target, just like Jeff Horn was, and I feel like it'll be a similar like performance like that. Where Bud, there's a reason why Bud chose him, and he went this route, right? Because Madrimov wasn't the WBO champion. I believe he was a WBA. Now the WBO stripped Sebastian Fundora, and this fight's going to be unification, which is crazy. But regardless of the take, he went the WBA route, and it'll be a really interesting fight. Cancuro says, "You see how delusional Devin Haney sounds? Austrian don't give you boxing skills. Ryan whooped Devin so bad his ancestors Kunta Kinte felt that one. Madrimov has white potential. He has all the tools to beat Crawford. And where's the link? Look, man.
Where's the link to what?
Yeah, man. I don't know. You see how delusional Devin Haney sounds. I don't know.
Man, dude, hold on. You're getting him. You're gonna actually start talking about that, man. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, like I don't think Devin Haney or Devin Haney fans, they sound delusional.
God, he wants to talk about this hella bad. Damn.
Yeah, for sure.
Not you, not you, but the commenter right here.
Yeah. It's all right. Austrian don't give you boxing skills. Yeah, agreed. PEDs don't give you boxing skills, but they enhance performance enhancers. They enhance your skills. So if Ryan Garcia is a 15-time national champion as an amateur, now enhance that by 2. Make it a 30-time national champ amateur. His skills become that, his focus, his strength,
absolutely
becomes enhanced. You know what the word enhance means. So if Ryan Garcia has an amazing left hook, his left hook just became amazinger. And became the most amazingest punch that he can possibly have. So again,
look,
all right, Drew, keep going, bro. Keep interrupting me, bro.
My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go.
Okay, so remember when you were losing weight, bro? That one day you had a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that day, bro? If I gave you any type of enhancement is an enhancement, bro. Literally, it can be in food. It can be, obviously, like, you get it prescribed or whatever, but that you have a doctor and pretty much, but you're not allowed to like have no type of IV, nothing like that. Ryan had that the morning of. You can't do that. We're not talking about that enough. Like that IV he had the morning of the fight, it's on camera. You're not that's illegal like as a fighter. You're not supposed to be doing that. You can do that in other states, but I heard in New York you're able to do that. Like we're not talking about that cheating shit enough. Like that shit right there, that IV, literally, I gave you that the day of your fight, bro. You're winning by knockout. You know, because you're like that's what it does. It literally feel like it makes you feel so much better. Especially you're putting yourself in the state that you're in, and you're just tired as fuck. Like people who say Austrian doesn't give you the skills. Well, trust me, it turns your 2 punch combinations into 4 5 punch combinations because you have so much fucking energy. Bro, I could have given you like some coke, and that shit wasn't is considered an enhancement. It's gonna enhance the way you think. Bro, I'm telling you, deep most people have not lost weight. Like it shows people who have lost weight are saying Ryan's a fucking cheater, and the ones who haven't broke a sweat are saying Austrian doesn't give you boxing skills. It's like, bro, you've never even depleted your body. The last 3 pounds are the hardest fucking pounds to lose. They feel like 10 pounds. Bro, like it's so hard to squeeze out the last juice that you got in your body.
I know.
Like it's
So let me
and
tell the story, guys. So what Drew is relying to, when I had my first amateur fight, right? I was going to the university as well, and coach, I was supposed to fight, I think, under 130 pounds, right? And
you're
mind you,
supposed to knock him out.
I didn't. In high school, I played football, so I weighed between like 147 to 153 pounds, right? Um, I hadn't weighed under 130 pounds probably since seventh grade. Okay, maybe freshman year. All right, maybe freshman year, somewhere between there. Definitely not. Yeah, probably like freshman year. I was like 130 pounds. So when I had my first amateur fight, I had to cut around 20 to 30 pounds, and I miscalculated, and I weighed in at 126.4. I was supposed to fight under 130, but I didn't really know how to cut weight. You know, it was new to me. Um, so what my diet consisted of the fight week, right? Friday and Thursday, I took water and a bag of lettuce, and that was what I was munching on during class. I hadn't ate for 2 days. Mind you, I already probably cut 20 pounds. When I weighed myself on Thursday, I was 132. Wednesday night, I was 132. I had just done a sparring. Before I sparred, I weighed in 136. I had like 5 or 6 rounds of sparring. I lost 4 pounds and I weighed in 132 on Wednesday night. Thursday and Friday, right? Thursday and Friday, I
The
don't eat
hardest.
anything and I'm drinking little bits of water because I'm not trying to hydrate, and I'm eating and snacking on salads, not chewing gum, and I'm spitting out the whole time and just little bit of salad. Now I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this, but when it came down to fight night, I weighed 126.4, damn near starving myself. Now again, I didn't know how to cut weight properly, right? Prior to that, I hadn't really been at the gym for like a month, and I was just focusing on like new school, paying my semester, and going to work, and whatever the case may be. So when I tell you that it's very fucking difficult to rehydrate, this is what happened on Saturday. My brother Speed, we weigh in, and after I weigh in 126.4, right? And I have to. My brother buys me a Gatorade, and I have a Subway sandwich that I bought the night before, and I had like this little 2 liter Gatorade, right? I can barely drink a little bit, and I already felt bloated. And I'm supposed to hydrate, 6 to 8 hours. The event starts at 2. I end up fighting like around 7 p.m. But I start to hydrate a little bit, and I can't really eat not even 2 bites of the Subway sandwich. I went to Drew's house, and we were listening to music, and I fell asleep in his couch. That's how exhausted I was. I wasn't hungry. I was just exhausted. I was depleted. Okay.
If you forced yourself to stay up, you would have just passed out naturally.
I would have just passed out naturally, right? I
Yeah.
could not eat. I could not hydrate, right? So when I tell you how difficult it is, I felt like a fucking skeleton, right? I was fighting on just instinct and heart. Okay, I did not know how to properly hydrate. I tried to take a Suero, a Pedialyte to hydrate. I could not. I could not. I don't even know what an IV felt like. I've never had one in my life, but it would have been nice to have
Oh,
that in that night. Cause man, if
I
I
know
can
what it feels.
believe, yeah, dude, I
I
was
know.
fucking bulimic, bro. It took me almost a month to gain back those 10 pounds and walk around minimum of 134. 3 months
Yeah.
later, I'm back to 154. So I don't know how these guys manipulate and overnight
Yeah.
are able to hydrate by incredible amounts.
They
I don't
got
know
it.
how
They
they
got it.
fucking do it.
They got it down to a T, and that's why it's expected for Ryan to have it down to a T, not to be like 3 pounds over. And fuck the 3 pounds over. You put IV in your shit. If you don't know what an IV does to you, bro, it is the bombest shit ever. I've done it in 2 different instances. I've had it at fucking when I had shingles. I had shingles, and this is a perfect example. They shot steroids up my ass. They put steroids and they shot it on my glutes because to help out the shingles, and then I had IVs, pretty much like to hydrate me. I ain't ever felt so damn good in my life. Honestly, you put IVs in you,
Yeah.
you put IVs in you after a long night of drinking. It's the fastest hydrating shit because it hits your bloodstream immediately, bro. People don't know what an IV does to your health. It's the bombest shit ever, bro. It makes you feel so damn good. And he had that the day of the fight. People aren't talking about it. Like fuck the steroids. Not fuck the steroids, because obviously he got caught. We're arguing over something that happened in the we're arguing over something that happened that is happening in a molecular level, and it takes science to prove all that, but yet we're not peeking over to the telescope. We're just saying he's not cheating, like, bro, like we're not believing in the science enough, like you need to see what is you need to if you don't know what the science is, put yourself through it, put yourself through that, give yourself a goal, um and see how you feel when you're 3 pounds away, like, and if it's too easy, then you ain't going hard enough. Like you ain't, like you can't, like you just can't relate the pain that it takes to really lose the actual weight. And Ryan didn't even bother to lose the last three, but fuck that. It's the IVs, bro. It's red-handed evidence. Like you can't get any clearer of a cheater than that. We're not
Well,
talking about that enough.
all
You
of that,
guys,
all of
you
that
guys
is
in the
being investigated, right? I don't think that has been like the
oh
forefront of
no,
any argument. Because Devin Haney, well, his father, that's what they like. They're suing him for a couple of things, right? And they're the ones that mentioned the IV in the lawsuit, but no one really has brought that up to the forefront, right?
yeah, no, oh yeah, because well, they're getting it off of other people's lives when they
Yeah.
were going live the day of the fight inside Ryan's hotel room, and somebody got him on video shooting up IVs in his arm. Like fuck the steroids, fuck the 3 pounds. You cheated. There's evidence right there.
Right, right. So it goes like this. So Cancuro goes, Devin showed no improvement in that ring, and Ryan won fair and square. I'm gonna say this. In terms of fighting within the ring, inside the ropes, Ryan was a superior fighter, right? He
I
was
think Devin.
superior to that of Devin Haney. Ryan didn't show good defense. I mean, he's turning his fucking back. That's illegal, right? He didn't show good defense. Ryan didn't really show a good jab, but he showed everything else, power, and that he was overall the greater fighter than Devin Haney. Yeah, he beat him fair and square into the ring, but Ryan did not play by the rules before he stepped into the ring. He didn't play
Right.
fair in the scale, right? He didn't play fair in terms of the supplements that you're allowed to take to get on the scale. Okay? You've never seen an athlete drink a beer in when they're weighing in. You don't really see athletes pay 500,000. I don't even know if that's the alleged number. I know that's what they shook on it, but I don't know what was behind the scene. Of the 3.4, we don't see people pay that X amount of money. 2 million is a shit ton of money. So we've never seen anybody miss that much weight on purpose and pay that X amount of money. Drink a beer in the weight, everything, bro. So like the precursory acts, gentlemen, the precursory acts, the things that led up to going to the ring. If the IV injection was proper, Ryan was not only 4 pounds stronger, he was on the juice, and then he took IV. This motherfucker is essentially going in there feeling like Thor against somebody that's like still in the process of putting oxygen into his brain because he just shed 30 fucking pounds. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
like all of that process of just trying to recover, Devin is still going through it, and he's fucking fighting a machine in there that's fucking well nourished versus one dude that's malnourished. One dude is trying to go in there and playing by the rules, and Ryan doesn't care about it. To the point you can just basically take away Ryan's gloves and just fucking have him fight and beat Devin Haney bare knuckle. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Ryan had all the advantages, and again, Devin is the champion. If somebody's supposed to have all those advantages coming into the devil's throne and like the fucking lion's jungle, Devin should have all those advantages. But it's
Right.
the challenger that has all these advantages. And he needed to take all these acts and do all of these things in order to beat this dude inside the ring, and he barely beat him. Now, to be fair, I thought Ryan beat the shit out of Devin. I thought he had like, I don't know, 7 rounds to 5, 8 rounds to 4, plus like 6 knockdowns, and they only counted for 2, and they took Ryan Garcia 1 point away. So yeah, I agree. Like Ryan destroyed Devin Haney, but the
I think
question
that
is,
jab,
can he destroy Devin Haney under 140 pounds?
dude.
Right?
I think
Hold
that
on, hold on,
jab
hold on,
would have
hold on.
been.
Hold on. And also this, Devin Haney has about, I don't know, 30-something professional fights. Only 3 or 4 of them have been in California. The majority, like 12 or 15 of them, have been in Mexico, and the majority have been in Las Vegas. 2 of them were in Australia, and like, I don't know, 3 and 4 have been in New York. Not in New York, but you know what I mean? There's only been like 3 times that he's fought in California. So, yo, bro, who's retracting his messages? What's going on? Is that
I
you,
don't
Drew?
know.
Are you emotionally invested into his comments? Nah, look.
Nah,
So I'm gonna say this, man.
we call him, dude. That's racist, bro.
Hold
Like
on, hold
that's
on, hold on.
racist.
So what I'm trying to say is this. Uh, so Devin Haney doesn't know all the rules and stipulations that California does, because New York or Nevada State Athletic Commission, they play by different rules than California. See, California might be like, you can't rehydrate past 15 pounds of your initial weight. So you can only rehydrate under 161. Nevada can be like, I don't give a fuck. You make weight, you're good, right? Like
Mhm.
some places in Nevada or some places in Arizona, they allow for you to stack your hand wraps. California and Nevada be like, nah, we don't allow stacking. But if you find in Arizona and New Mexico, they do allow stacking. So you got to understand, bro, like everything is completely different in different athletic commissions. It's possible that Devin Haney didn't know about the 18%. It's possible that he did know about it. But really nobody's making that a talking point into now, right? It's only a talking point one time, right? Where it's continuous that
Yeah,
Ryan, cheated with intent. Now let me go like this. Now there's a lot of news reports. There's a lot of news outlets. There's a lot of, I don't know, posting of Ryan Garcia that he did a hair follicle sample, that he sent in open product to VADA so they can retest it, and then they found levels. Then there's like the lawyers of Ryan Garcia that sent out some documents that VADA tested it. They found that some contamination, and then we find out that none of that is true. All I'm gonna say is this: there's too much hoopla, there's too much noises going around, that they're trying to swarm us with an abundance of misinformation that we just don't know what's true or not, right?
hmm
It's pretty fucking chaotic. So a lot of the messages get lost in translation, and that's on purpose. The reality, and let's keep it simple. If Ryan cheated and it was due to contamination, right? Then at least we know he didn't cheat on purpose. And on purpose versus intent, that means a lot, right? Because his product could be contaminated. But Ryan is still responsible for what he puts inside his body. He is
right.
responsible for what he eats, what supplements that he takes, right? He's responsible what goes in his body, right? So if he's taking a supplement that he knows some knowledge about, obviously Ryan decided to go with this company over snack products, right? So he's informed about that company, that he wants to use them. So whatever that he took inside his body, it's on him. Now, whether he did it on purpose because he knew that there was Austrian or some type of things that are going to enhance his performance or whatever, who knows? That's open to interpretation. But I will say
Yeah,
this: Ryan is a pathological liar.
yeah.
This dude is willing to backtrack on any statements. He's willing to change his narrative on the get-go instantly. So we can't really believe him, right? This dude is really willing to cast aspersions on essentially his best friends, right? I mean, to my knowledge, I thought he was like brother in arms with the Paul brothers. But then one minute he loves Jake Paul, the next minute he's taking pictures with Logan Paul and dating the same girls, and then the next minute he's trying to tarnish his prime reputation, right?
And then he's saying sorry, and then he says sorry for that.
That's what I'm saying. So he's willing to backtrack on everything. He doesn't stand on business, right? So we can't
Yeah.
really believe him.
hmm
We can also take the narrative that the dude is not trustworthy. He blames Oscar the lawyer for all of this situation, for not standing in his corner, and then they're going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. and then they're buddy buddy. Like, bro, you didn't want to listen to Oscar. You wanted to listen to your manager, Guadalupe Valencia, or whatever her fucking name is. And then you want to
Mhm.
blame nothing but Oscar the Lawyer when Oscar the Lawyer told you, don't take that fucking fight versus Tank. Don't deplete yourself. Don't put the rehydration. Walk away. And you're like, nah, bro, I can beat this dude. And then you want to
Crazy.
blame Oscar for when he was telling you, don't fucking take it.
Hmm.
So we can't believe Ryan. This dude doesn't
Yeah.
have principles. He doesn't have morals. Look, outside of the sport of boxing, look what he did to his wife. Bro, this dude is divorced his chick, announced it to the world on the same day that his kid was born, and then he goes fucks porn stars. Make it make sense where every other dude has just on this chick's face. This dude is openly kissing her on the lips. Why are we so interested in defending Ryan Garcia? Bro, I won money on Ryan Garcia. But I'm not gonna put on my superhero cape and just be like and protect this dude and take fucking kryptonite shot. I'm not gonna do none of that, bro. Listen, Ryan, you can't trust this dude. There's no reason to trust him. Inside the rings, he was superior to Devin Haney. His speed was better. His boxing intellect was better. The left hook, the power, he was better than Devin Haney by every aspect. Devin Haney needed to take away one thing, and that was Ryan Garcia's left hook. That's the only weapon that can hurt you. He got caught with it in the first minute of the first round. And then he continuously got caught. So whatever happened in the ring, Ryan was superior because how flawed Ryan was with turning his back on the defensive standpoint, Devin Haney could not pick him apart. He could not use
Yeah.
his jab. He could not land combinations. He could not use his Lomachenko side movement, footwork. It was non-existent. He decided to go toe-to-toe, and he got dropped 6 times. Yes, we all know what happened. But again, what led up to the event of the fight actually taking place, yes, Devin Haney played himself. He gave Ryan Garcia every out to this dude to be able to beat you. But it
Hmm.
wasn't a fair game, like you said, Kanguro. It was not fair at all, bro. It's like this, bro. I'm a big fan of Barry Bonds. Now, to my knowledge, the home run king in baseball. He broke Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron's record. The dude has 762 home runs, right? He's probably responsible for 40 splash hit in McCovey Cove in San Francisco. But I can't tell you that he was not or on the juice. The same people that were getting caught, like Alex Rodriguez and all of these guys, had the same suppliers, Barry Bonds. He grew exponentially. Now,
Vinter Conte?
normally through no, not LeBron James, Barry Bonds. Now,
No, I
normally,
said Vinter. I said Vinter Conte.
yeah, with Victor Conte. Now, over time, with age, one gets bigger, one gets stronger. You know, you have access to certain resources, gyms. So Barry can, when he went into the league, I don't know, in the early '90s, all the way into like the mid 2010s. Of course, in 30 years, he's going to be able to grow and shit. But I can't tell you with a fucking straight face that he never cheated. Now, I don't think he ever failed the test, but the people that he was associated with, they vouched for Barry and be like, nah, they even took jail time. But to that notion, because people don't trust Barry, he's not in the Hall of Fame. And this is the home run king in baseball, right?
Mhm.
So I can't tell you with Ryan Garcia with an open eye that and a straight face that he didn't cheat. I can't tell you that. But I will say this: separating the art from the artist. What happened that night, Ryan Garcia beat the shit out of Devin Haney. Should have like it was bad. I've never seen Devin Haney. I didn't think Devin Haney was gonna get pieced apart like that, let alone by Ryan, given every single thing that we knew that was going on with Ryan in the backhand. You know, it looked like he wasn't training properly. You know, he was trolling. It didn't really seem like he was focused. The precursory acts leading up to the fight, you just think, man, they shouldn't even allow this fight to go through. And
Yeah.
then it probably shouldn't have happened. And then Devin Haney still gave Ryan Garcia the whole pass. Oh, I still beat this dude 4 pounds over. Shit. He didn't know that he was on the juice, but he probably still would have fought Ryan on the juice. Had he known that Ryan failed, the drug test, whatever the case may be. Shit, he probably would have fought Ryan Garcia, with no fucking gloves. He'd be like, I'll beat this fucking dude. Who the hell knows, man? But the
Yeah.
reality
It's just.
is Devin
Yeah.
Haney feels some type of way and he's suing him and he has all the right to sue him. Um, that's all I gotta
Yeah.
say
No.
about that subject matter. It's crazy, bro. But like,
Yeah. My last thing is Devin is it made him look bad a little bit just because of the things he's saying after the fight a little bit, you know. But what I see it as is him stooping down. You know how someone does you dirty, and then you're like, you're say someone does you dirty, and you're coming, you want to pay back, and now you got to stoop down to their level to get that payback. Sometimes that payback's not worth it, but sometimes it is, you know. And I think if you have the right to do it, then why not? You know, this guy did you dirty. Why not do it back? He's stooping down in his level essentially. Um, so I think it's unfortunate. You know, I have my own little things I have in my head, like as far as like what could have gone down in the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight. I think that jab would have been working overtime. Um, if they were both at in the same level, I think Ryan would have been way more depleted, wouldn't even been thinking straight as he would have. He just seemed a lot more angrier. Um, and when you you have the energy to be angry like that, that means, you know, you either had a good diet and you had the room, you had the mental capacity to be that way. Because man, you're depleted. You're not trying to fuck with nothing. And you could see Ryan just hype the whole training camp like he ain't depleted. It's like, nah, that's not morally right. And I just feel like you know, he did win inside the ropes. But to get inside the ring, it's a privilege. That you know, and you actually have the get the you deserve the right to get inside that ring. And you kind of play with that, you play with that privilege, then it's like, dude, like, it doesn't matter what people think about you. It doesn't matter if people think you're the baddest man on the planet, because in reality, these boxers have hands, but they will get knocked out on the street. Like, some of them will, at least. You know, a depleted bot. That's what these fighters are doing. They're depleting their bodies. You know, they're not as healthy as you think they are. Most of them are malnourished while they're going inside the fight. So it's dangerous, you know. And he's playing with that. Like, who cares, man? Like, who cares what you're gonna do after this? Besides, if it's not gonna be inside the ring or making things right to get back in the ring, then we don't give a fuck. That's my closing thoughts on that.
Yeah, man. I mean, all I honestly, to me, I look at it like just run it back.
Yeah,
Run
me
it
too.
back.
Run it back.
Just fight again. Fight under fair rules. If Ryan can't make 140, fight out 147. Period. You know, you guys can put rehydration clauses or whatever the case may be. Try to right or wrong. I don't know, but I will say this, man. It's a very interesting situation. I think it has a lot of implications to see what kind of punishment Ryan Garcia will receive. Who knows, man? This can be stretched out
This
and it
wasn't the
might take a
topic
lot of
either.
months before we come down to a decision. But who knows, man? It's
Yeah.
going to be very interesting. And Ryan has to be very careful because, you know, a lot of people can put a and desist letter on Ryan or even sue him for defamation like Logan Paul was. Snack and Victor Conte, they can all do the same thing. Vada can do
Yeah.
the same thing. It's like, bro, you're saying that we're cheaters. You're saying that we're willing to cheat. Like, you hired us, the experts, so we can make it a fair and competitive matchup, right? And now, like, we're on your side. It's just you fucking took something and you want us to not be man of our word and change our principle and our criteria because you paid us to keep you two in check, the competing athlete. We're not at fault here, bro. We didn't tell you to suck cock and then you had Austrian in your stomach. We didn't tell you to do that. And that's what
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia did. So it's one of the most interesting situations where it's just like, listen, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say those type of words here, bro. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I
Listen,
know. I was like, I messed up earlier too, but
like,
you said,
Ryan is the one that has to prove himself and tell the world that he's innocent, right? He has to show the world that he's innocent. You can't hire a hair testing follicle and not include the Devin Haney's. You can't take an IV and not have them be present. Like, dude, this dude is like he's a great manipulator. He's a
and
really good manipulator, and he's playing his cards relatively like a criminal would.
dangerously.
Like a criminal would, bro. Like that's just really
Yeah.
like. But anyway, man, It'll be a very interesting situation. All I gotta say is this, bro. Just rematch one another, fight each other, and see who wins. If you're that much better, let's fight at welterweight, 147 in those situations. Look, guys, the reason I cleared off the stage real quick is I wanted to show you guys two different things. Let me pause this fight right here. This is Oscar Valdez versus Scott Quigg, right? And look at these messages. I just want you guys to see the difference of messages here. So this is Oscar Valdez versus Scott Quigg. Scott Quigg in this fight broke Oscar Valdez's jaw. And Valdez, and he didn't make weight by 2 pounds. He was over by 2 pounds, Scott Quigg. And look at all these comments. They're putting Oscar Valdez. Para ver una pelea de Oscar Valdez es un espectáculo grandísimo. Es un chavo que entrega todo en cada pelea, corazones. He goes on, a lot of people are just revering Oscar Valdez. He is also battling while staying clean from PEDs. Okay, whatever. Let me see. Was this before or after the T? So this was before Oscar Valdez failed the drug test himself. Una vergüenza, Eddie Reynoso, a echar a perder un gran talento. Igualmente tiene la culpa Valdez de ser un guerrero. Okay, so basically, I'm not reading the correct comments, but basically all of these comments are essentially saying, these are the most recent ones. I got to change the sort by top comments. Sort by newest first. Fuck it, I guess I can't. But long story short, a lot of these comments are saying like, man, this is the best fight that I've ever seen. Oscar Valdez deserves a lot of credit for going in there as a smaller man with a broken jaw and being a fucking warrior. So much respect for Oscar Valdez, X, Y, and Z. Now, if you were to go to the comment section of Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, look at this. 3 knockdowns and you gave him a draw. Haney crying over 3 pounds while Usyk Fried Fury, who was 40 pounds heavier, right? They're almost absolving Ryan Garcia from willing to, basically for cheat. I've never seen somebody get a pass like this, right? When Oscar Valdez failed and popped dirty by drinking tea versus Robson Conceição. Let me see if I can find that one. Valdez versus Robson Conceição. Look how quick the Mexicans, La Raza, bro, are willing to flip-flop on their comments. So in this particular fight, Oscar Valdez popped dirty, right? And check this out. So one guy right here goes, Conceição won this fight. I'll box Valdez. I'll work them hands down. And mind you, Valdez was fighting in his home state of Arizona. He failed the drug test. Didn't have to absolve himself. He got beat in this fight. And they robbed Robson Conceição. They fucking put the royal fuck to Robson Conceição 3 times. And look at the comments, man. Oscar Valdez did a great job punching Robson's fist with his face. What a robbery. Bro, like, look at all these comments. All I'm saying, guys, is like, we just got to be consistent, man. Consistent. If dudes fail, just keep them to the same standard. It's very simple. Now, look, I like Ryan Garcia. But I don't like him if he's going to cheat. I like Canelo Alvarez, but I don't like him if he's going to cheat against Triple G. I like all of these fighters. Shane Mosley when he fought De La Hoya back in 2003. But if you're going to be on the juice, like, we got to hold you to that standard that you're a cheater. That's pretty clear. Ryan Garcia is innocent, says Adi Medi. Adi Medi goes, Drew is going in on the racists today. I'm glad I stayed in the closet.
Man, my grandpa's black, man.
Devin Haney finally made his match in the pros. Someone that can hydrate to his level. Very true. Very true. He's only fought smaller guys. Joseph Diaz, Lomachenko, Regis, and George Kambosos. Tank would definitely put a rehydration clause on Devin 100. Oscar De La Hoya is a veteran in the game, and Ryan thought he knew it all. Victor Conte puts the convict in Victor Conte. Yeah, that's funny, man. Oscar Valdez, the Kevin Hart of boxing. Yeah, he's short as shit. And Ryan Garcia is innocent. Look, man, what I'm going to say is this, right? Devin Haney met his match in the pros, someone that he can fight and hydrate. He's only fought smaller guys. You know who's also fought smaller guys?
Ryan
Garcia has. The only time that he fought guy his equal size, Luke Campbell, he got dropped. But, he fought Javier Fortuna. He's 5'5". He fought Romero Duno. He's like 5'3". You know, the list goes on. Ryan Garcia also fights nothing but small guys as well. And guess what? At least Devin Haney fights champions, Adi. Ryan hasn't fought an active champion, bro. And when he did fight his only champion, the time to become a champion himself, he dug Devin Haney for X amount of times, circumvented him, fought Tank Davis, depleted, got knocked out, you know, fought all these little short dudes, and then came back and fought Devin Haney, and he still didn't want to make weight. Like, bro, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like, but you guys got to put all the context together, you know? I know Devin Haney is beatable. Lomachenko beat him. Yes, we know Devin Haney is chinny. You know, guys like Joseph Diaz were putting hands on Devin. It just lets you know how weak Ryan Garcia was, that he needed all of these advantages, and he could not sleep Devin Haney. Yeah, you fucked him up. Congratulations. But you needed all of these advantages. Austrian in your system. You needed 4-pound weight. Like, you paid $2 million so you can have an advantage over him. You supposedly took IVs to feel much better. Like, he needed to do all this gang of shit in order to be, you know, the big face of Devin Haney, and he's pillow fisted. Like, come on, bro. Like, look, listen. I've gotten my ass beat a few times, right?
By who?
And I've also kicked ass, like just boxing related wise. You know what I mean? You know, I've sparred really good guys. I've gotten beat by them dudes.
Bigger dudes.
I always felt that I could beat anybody that I stepped in the ring with. Even if the guy weighed like 20 pounds bigger than me, or even if he was like 6 inches taller than me.
30 pounds more.
I didn't need to be on the juice to fight him. Bro, if I'm a 15-time national champion, if I was a 15-time national champion like Ryan Garcia, I'm going to be like, I can beat all these fucking dudes. I'm just fucking naturally talented, but I'm also a hard fucking worker. I'm going to beat all these dudes. I'm that dude, right? I don't need all of these extra situations, you know, loaded gloves, stacked hand wraps in order to hit hard. Man, I've been hitting hard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and the crazy thing is Devin Haney is supposed to be Ryan Garcia's brother. What I mean by that is, like, they've known each other since they were kids. They used to ride together in amateur tournaments, right? And Ryan Garcia needed to do all this shit to be his brother. That's crazy, right? It's the same thing. Ryan Garcia was buddy with Logan Paul and Jake Paul. And then all of a sudden, like, there's always backhanded compliments. These guys troll one another. He's trying to tarnish his homie's reputation, like of like his product Prime. I've never drank Prime. I'm not interested in drinking that juice. But the reality is, like, damn, bro, like, how salty can you be? Instead of like helping me hustle and wear my chain so you can promote my company, like, you're trying to tarnish it every single situation and any time that you get. And the only reason why you stop is because I press charges to sue your ass. Like, that's my brother. Like, listen, let's say you guys fuck with me, right? And let's say I'm starting a business, a sandwich business, and you guys go on and give me, instead of uplifting me and going on Yelp and giving me good reviews, even though my sandwich fucking sucks, at least you still gave me a good review and be like, damn, bro, like, I appreciate you, bro. But, you know, honestly, be fair with me. But let's say I have a good product, I'm pushing the line, and you're fucking jealous and envy, and you say, man, this fucking sandwich was shit. It was unwrapped. It looked nasty. You didn't put enough fucking meat. The lettuce was dry. They had a fucking rat in there, and you just tarnished my whole reputation. And it's just like, why would you do that? I thought you rolled with me. You get what I'm saying? That's essentially what Ryan Garcia is saying. Oh, man, they're poisoning the kids, the youth. Look at this. This has freaking preservatives and yellow fire that causes cancer. Oh, my God, your kids have ADHD. And then next thing you know, you're like, nah, bro, I'm just fucking with you, bro. We're best friends.
Yeah, no, you don't say that. That's stupid.
Like, bro, like, what are we talking about, bro? Not even little kids act like that. Only the obnoxious, and they do, you fucking slap them in the face, and they be like, oh, mommy. I don't even know. Like, man, Ryan Garcia is innocent. He says, "War speed, good moral, ladies and gents. I am sick, so I'm unable to express my ridiculous takes today. But greetings from Dallas, Nalgas way. Ven pa' acá, pa' que te las deje Colorado." No chingues. Yeah, man. Look, man. But anyway, that's a little bit enough with Ryan Garcia. Look, honestly, man.
Yeah, like, I'm done.
And this simplify it, guys. Look, Ryan Garcia beat the shit out of Devin Haney with a performance that, to me, it really didn't look enhanced. right? Ryan Garcia didn't have incredible speed that I haven't seen before. In fact, he looked faster when he fought Javier Fortuna. Ryan Garcia's power didn't look any greater or any worse in the Devin Haney fight. It looked on par, like he's always looked. But this does cast a shadow and an asterisk on this performance that we should be revering and uplifting Ryan Garcia. Like, yeah, bro, like you really beat the motherfucker. Like we didn't think you were gonna be able to do that. But then next thing you know, oh, he did it with HIV. He did it with IV injection. Oh, he did it with Austrian in his stomach. Oh, he paid $2 million to not make weight. Like that's not fair and square, fellas. You get what I'm saying? Like what Brian Norman did to Giovanni Santillan in a reciprocated fashion that Giovanni Santillan beat Alexis Rocha, all you gotta say is wow, right? You can't say wow, Ryan Garcia did that fair and square. You just can't. Even if you hate Devin Haney, even if you live in LA and you fucking bring street politics into the internet or prison politics into your home, like you can't say that dude beat him fair and square. Like it is what it is. It's like bringing we're supposed to shank each other on a knife fight, and you bring a fucking an Uzi, and you destroy me in close range. Like congratulations, bro, you catch a body, yeah, sure, but like, we're coming here to fucking square up and play, the Mask of Zorro right here with little butterfly knives. Look. Look, man, I'm just fucking around, guys. I don't even know. On this similar topic, Drew, there's a documentary that's making the rounds. It's a YouTube documentary, right? And it's created by Levi Cohen, written by Noah Cohen, and narrated by Elijah Abelman. It's called Secrets Under Secrets, the Devin Haney Deception. Have you been able to see this documentary, bro?
Is that on YouTube or what?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Let me see if I can pop it up real quick.
No, I haven't.
So long story short, I don't know if I can actually pop that up. But essentially these these documentarians, I don't even know if that's the word, but these people that created this documentary, right? Ethan Cohen, Noah Cohen, and narrated by Elijah Abelman. They're basically here to protect Ryan Garcia and pander to the Ryan Garcia fan base, right? They go on and make a 41-minute documentary, and all they do is they focus on Devin Haney. How Devin Haney, and this is nothing new for people that have been following boxing and Devin Haney's career. They're basically calling Devin Haney a weight bully. They're basically insinuating that Devin Haney has been lying and he's not been beating these opponents fairly, right? It's in my opinion, is extremely biased documentary, but regardless, it suits a narrative, right? We call this the spin zone, right? And the way I look at it is like, when I first watched this documentary, I'm like, all right, there is a lot of truth. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of truth to this, but it's things that we already know. But when you're making an argument, your job is not to be well balanced. Now, good people that make great arguments, they cover both ends of the spectrum, the opposing argument and then your argument and where you stand. When here, it's just one-sided. Devin Haney is a weight bully. Devin Haney calls all of these fighters, Jojo Diaz, Lomachenko, you're small, you're small, you're small, while he gains an upper size advantage in terms of the rehydration process. They bring in the California State Athletic Commission that he weighed more than the 15% that he's supposed to weigh in against Regis Prograis. And they basically make the assumption because he was bigger than Regis Prograis. Imagine how much times he was bigger against Jorge Linares, Jojo Diaz, George Kambosos, and Lomachenko, which we already knew. Everybody was calling him a middleweight when he fought Lomachenko. And even then, people still thought that, he was pillow-fisted and all of these things, right? They go on to slander Victor Conte and snack products with the Balco situation. Kind of like every single thing that Ryan Garcia has put out there, you're right, in terms of, oh, it's a conspiracy. Basically, this documentary encapsulates everything that Ryan Garcia has stated and continues to pander to them. It's well executed, I'm not going to lie, but it's a biased ass, and honestly, it's a shit documentary. If I didn't know any better, and if I was a fucking retard, I would think like, oh my God, this is the greatest shit since sliced bread. Devin Haney's a piece of shit. He's been cheated. He deserves that loss that he received against Ryan Garcia. Fuck him. He's been getting the upper hand, him and his daddy. You know what I mean? If I didn't know any better, that's the type of emotion that I'm going to be getting after watching this documentary. But because I'm not that dumb and I actually, can think for myself, it is one of the most one-sided documentaries. And honestly, the people that created it, they should be ashamed of themselves. Anything for views and clicks is basically what it is, just like anybody on the YouTube, right? But the ideal is this, man. Look, man, if you have 40 minutes to spare, honestly, don't. If you have 40 minutes to spare, don't watch the documentary. But if you're finding yourself taking a long road, it's very interesting, nevertheless, to watch the documentary, right? So again, they make a polarizing argument, and they basically blame Devin Haney for everything, like basically saying you deserve to get the upper hand because, like Adi Mehdi stated earlier, he finally fought somebody, right? He's only fought smaller guys, and he finally met his match with Ryan Garcia. That's basically the ultimate lesson. Devin Haney finally fought somebody his own size. But what the documentary fails to take is this. Ryan Garcia has also fought similar guys. Shakur Stevenson has also fought similar guys that are small. Teofimo Lopez has fought a lot of smaller guys. Diego Magdaleno and the bunch. Tank Davis puts on rehydration classes on all of these dudes, and he essentially doesn't really fight fair. Guys like Leo Santa Cruz, all of these dudes, these are all smaller guys than Tank Davis. Tank Davis, if you see him walking around, not now, but back then, the dude would balloon north of 160 pounds. He was a huge dude. So all of these dudes are cutting down to weight and fighting guys unfairly. The documentary doesn't take that into consideration. The documentary doesn't also take in consideration that Devin tried to fight his contemporaries. When he was at 135, he sent Shakur Stevenson a contract. Shakur did not want to take the 25%. He thought his value was worth more. Tank Davis didn't want to fight Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia was Devin Haney's mandatory, and they faced off, I don't know, X amount of times, and Ryan Garcia walked away. He moved up to 140, fought all these dudes at catch weights at 144. Catch weights. Devin Haney has never fought at a catch weight. He just rehydrates bigger than all of these motherfuckers. That's the only thing, and he still can't crack himself out of a wet paper brown bag. He tried to fight Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez went a different direction, ended up getting his ass beat by George Kambosos. Blames Eddie Hearn till this day for it, as he feels that he got robbed against a guy that he was supposed to be superior by 20-1 odds. Devin Haney wanted to fight all these dudes. None of these dudes wanted to fight him. So this documentary doesn't take that into consideration. It's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, all right, let's talk about Victor Conte. Let's blame Victor Conte. All right? The dude is a shiesty character. I wouldn't fucking trust him. But guess what? He served his jail sentence. His reputation has been, you can't really trust him. Right? But nevertheless, he is an expert and one of the greatest ones in the field, right? And now it looks to be like he's trying to do some good, right? He did a crime, he paid his dues, he did the time, right? Don't we believe in fucking second chances? Don't we believe in third chances? Or is it 3 strikes you're out and we never can trust you anymore? I just want to know which laws of the streets that we're playing by. Because if you do your time, then you're a free man. And when you're a free man, guess what? You can meet religion. You can meet God. You can talk to God. You can become a changed man and change your principles, and you can try to do some good. That's what Victor Conte has this perception of doing. He teams up with VADA, a drug testing agency. He sets them a rubric and, coaches them and trying to, like, this is what you guys can do so they can, bust these cheaters. Because maybe if you were to ask Victor Conte at the time that we were cheating, like he said, we didn't think we were cheating because everybody else was doing it. But I was the scapegoat. I was the one that you cast all blame, and I'm the devil in disguise. But everybody else was fucking doing it. Everybody was this, but except I was better than them at it. That's all it was. And of course, he has to do his time. Look, man, all I gotta say is this. A person has the opportunity, right, once they've committed a crime to become free. Now, some crimes are bigger than others. Obviously, and for the sake of sports gambling, for the sake of having integrity, the Victor Contes of the world should not get a second chance in terms of being a clean sport. I agree. But then if we're going to hold Victor Conte to that same standard, then all of these other cheaters that have failed multiple times, like Jerome Miller, like Dylan White, all of these guys, then they don't deserve to make money from the sport of boxing and exploit boxing fans or the opportunity to make legacy and make money and feed their children. Right? I mean, if we're gonna do that same standard to Victor Conte, then we got to do the same thing to everybody else. So the documentary, going back to it, they try to slander and basically placate and pander to Ryan Garcia's fan base, right? And again, I really wouldn't waste my your 40 minutes of your time. I thought it was gonna be a better documentary, but yeah, man, it's
That's
ridiculous.
crazy.
You know,
Yeah,
no, it is what it is. It's a good documentary. If I'm just a Ryan
yeah.
Garcia fanboy, you know,
Dude,
and but yeah,
have you heard anything bigger in the sport of boxing? Like when it comes down to like cheats, overweight, all the other shit that went down with this Garcia Haney fight. Like, have you heard of anything uh bigger than like the shit that went down after the fight? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's talking about it and they continue to talk about it. And it happened fucking sorry, Malay, happened two months ago almost, and we got the results and it's just like, dang, like I haven't heard of another fight with this much BS or surrounding it. um, and it's, man, people are gonna talk about this for a long time, bro. Like this kind of feels like a Barry Bonds moment. Like I remember I was a kid and people were talking about that, and or Manny Ramirez. It happens more with baseball,
yeah.
but no, like this is like shit that bro, like it's lasted for a long time, and I'm wondering how much longer are people gonna talk about this, because it's all
Well,
said and done already. I think they'll start. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, no. I mean, just to answer your question, this can drag on until the end of the year, even carrying over to next year. Look, man, when it's like, you remember the the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard situation? Like Netflix made a documentary, everybody was talking about it, and everybody was glued to Chisme. That's how this situation with Ryan and Devin Haney is going to be. It's going to be Chisme. Ryan's going to release some more documents that he never cheated a day in his life. Devin Haney is gonna be like, no, dude, what about these HIV? They're gonna, sorry, HIV, IV injections. They're gonna send pictures, and like, dude, it's gonna drag on, and then
Yeah,
there's gonna be the situation with who is gonna sue Ryan Garcia, what documents, they sent to the public. Did Ryan Garcia take IV or not? What was his fight weight class? And all of these things, it's going to continue on. But it's a high profile situation, and everybody's talking about it, and they're going to continue to talk about it because, well, Ryan Garcia is a social media darling. He has a big presence. He's very active on social media. To the same situation, Devin Haney is as well. He's always used YouTube and social media to enhance his profile, on his Real Devin Haney TV YouTube page. Like these two guys have always used, technology and the power of the cell phone to increase their following. And they do a great job at it. They're really great promoters for themselves. So, if I'm Ryan, you can't stop now. You got to double down on these lies. That's what you have to do. If, they're trying to ruin your reputation, if they're trying to strip you away of your integrity, if they're trying to strip away of your victory, and you say that you've never done these things, then you got to fight tooth and nail 12 rounds in the court. And if you're Devin Haney, you're embarrassed. You're like, this fucking dude cheated me. So it's gonna drag on for like probably until next year until we finally, have these dudes sit down and Netflix makes a documentary. They follow these two stories, and I don't know, bro. They can make a big old fiasco about it. I hope they don't.
right.
But the reality is, like, how long are they going to suspend Ryan Garcia?
I'm
Did he cheat intentionally, or was it accidentally due to contamination? Do we properly know it was contamination? I
right.
don't even know, dude. But to
Well,
your point, it's going to be really interesting. I don't know. I can't really answer your question, but I'm gonna say it's gonna drag on to next year, bro.
I say it's gonna drag on until they fight again. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Devin has to get his get back to shut everyone up. And because I genuinely feel like he can beat him decision. I think that jab would have been working overtime, and he just wasn't using that jab enough. And I just feel like he would have won rounds, and literally, he lost. The only rounds that he lost were the ones that he got knocked down in. You know, and maybe a couple rounds he lost that he didn't get knocked down in, but I
But he
feel
got
like
knocked down like 6 times. Okay. So let's talk about this. So officially, Harvey Dock, the ref, only scored like 2 or 3 knockdowns for Ryan Garcia, right? And then he took away a point for a late hit after the break. But I was talking to Speed about this the other day when we were watching boxing fights. Precursory acts. That's my favorite word lately. Precursory acts. So what I mean by that is, let's say you rock the shit out of me, boom, and I get wobbled, and I start to hold on to dear life, right? Kind of like when the ropes hold you up, and then the ref intervenes and it causes it a knockdown. If I go to hold on you and I fail to hold on you properly and I fall face forward, that should be a knockdown. That should be counted as a knockdown, not as an accidental slip or a wrestling move takedown. No, because if I did not rock your shit, you will not look to hug me. If I didn't rock your shit, you would not fail to lose your balance. You were trying to use a survival tactic like a rope's holding you up by trying to hug me, but I, made a wrestling move and you stumbled on your own feet. Why? Because a punch rocked your shit and you're trying to get those 10 seconds. That should be counted as a knockdown. So basically, if we're being fair, Ryan dropped Devin Haney 6 to 7 times, but they only counted it for 2. But there should have been like another one. So if you were to do that, if you were to count the act before the fall, if it was a proper punch, scored a knockdown. You get what I'm saying? So in that particular fight, when you add up all the numbers, it's probably like, I don't know. Let's say Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney 8 rounds to 4 with 6 knockdowns, right? 8 rounds to 4 is usually 116, 112. Take away those 6 points, it's 116, 106. Take away the one deducted point is 115, 106. Ryan Garcia damn near beat Devin Haney by 9 points, bro. If you score legitimately all those knockdowns where Devin was fumbling and he was losing his balance on his foot, because you got to understand, clinching excessively, that should be deducted a point because people boo. You don't want to loosen the crowd, and also it allows to accidental headbutts and a lot of foul play, right? And also, if I rock your shit, you holding on to me for dear life could be like the ropes holding you up. So they have to count those as knockdowns. If it's like if you fall to the ground after I landed a nasty left hook, but it was like 2-3 seconds or 4 seconds delayed, that's a knockdown, bro. Because it's called a delayed reaction, right? Because again, you wouldn't try to hold on to me if I didn't land that punch, unless our feet get tangled and okay, that was accidental. But if there was a punch that was flush and landed, and you were like, oh, and your eyes rolled back, and you're trying to do your best impressions to survive, and you failed at the attempt to survive, which is fight back, 10-8. Start counting it. Boom, boom. Let him regain his senses. Because then he's going to hold on to dear life, and there's going to be 6 minutes of hugging like Devin Haney did to Jorge Linares. And it's not fucking fair for Jorge Linares because the only way he can hit Devin Haney is behind the head or try to take him down and then just land these rabbit punches because he's smothering me. Right? I don't know. I just feel like when you take all that into situation, this fight was not close at all, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't close. You're right. And it all comes down to Devin Haney's recovery was pretty good too. I just feel like the 3 pounds just made him that extra, like that stronger. For Devin, I think Devin would have took those punches 3 pounds less, bro. I'm just saying it is literally the game of inches, and everything that you put in your body, it goes to the fight. It shows in the fight. And man, I just feel like
that. I don't know. It's because look, it doesn't matter if Ryan Garcia was 10 pounds bigger than Devin Haney. The left hook, bro. There's only one punch that can really
that makes it worse.
Destroy you. And Devin could not take that left hook from him. Not in the first round, not in, I don't know, the 4th, the 7th, the 10th round, the final round. Like, bro, Ryan showed sympathy towards you. Like, he was literally telling your dad, hey, bro, stop it. Like, he could have pounded you even more. Like, bro, it was a fucking war bath. You know what I mean? Like, he could have just, like, if he really wanted to, he would have just, dude, I can't even use some of these words, but he would just destroyed Devin, and Ryan showed sympathy, even amidst all of that action. But Nah, man,
It
I
happened.
don't
Yeah.
think so. I'm gonna say this: run it back at 147 if Ryan Garcia is able to allow to compete. Run it at 147 and let the chips fall where they may. If Devin Haney can't look, take the left hook away. You know,
Take it
if
away.
you can't take the left hook away, boom. But anyway, bro, I'm tired of talking about Ryan Garcia, dude.
Me too. Me too.
Congratulations, Ryan, dude. You're a great fighter. You know, you're innocent.
You're innocent. I'm sorry.
Let me see. Warp Speed, salute to you, brother. You go, what's wrong with your loving listeners, Drew? Especially Adi Medi, who's always around making us laugh. The biggest crime is Haney rehydrating hella big and still have pillow hands. That's crazy, bro. The dude hydrates to a middleweight, almost to 168, bro. And he can't crack hard. Like, what
Yeah,
the
I know.
fuck? Well, that's crazy, bro. Like,
Insane.
the dude gotta eat meat, bro. I kid you not. He's got to go to Argentina, live out there for a year, buy himself some farm, buy himself some cows, train with Marcos Maidana, and eat meat, bro. Because whatever Paleolithic diet that you are eating, nuts and fruits and
Dude.
dude, oh my goodness. Like, bro, get the fucking strength.
And he does like his lower body strength, so you figure you get stronger because of that. But I just feel like maybe he's squatting too much weight, bro, to where it's like you're just looking to run a little too much. You got to start putting on some weight up top, you know, because
Vegan
he gets
gains.
fat.
Let's talk about the vegan diet. So we can basically assume Devin Haney, you know, he doesn't eat swine, doesn't eat pig, he doesn't eat meat and shit like that. Let's just assume he don't eat none of that. So this dude is basically on a vegan diet, right? Because of his religion and all of these things. Okay. So this dude takes supplements, right? He takes pills, he takes fish oil, vitamins, he takes all of these things to try to get what regular cow meat would give you. Whatever steak would give you, this dude supplements it with, you know, pills and stuff. It's a true testament that while Devin has all this discipline and he has this, I don't know, intrinsic values towards animal life and animal having feelings and sentience because he refuses to eat them as the predominant human force that we are. This dude takes pills. Ryan Garcia drinks beer and eats steak. Guys, if you guys want punching power, drink beer and eat steak like Ryan. Do not take pills and supplements to get what a piece of steak would give you, because then you're not going to hit hard like Devin Haney. You know what I mean? That's just my, save a chicken, eat it. You know what I mean? Like
the dude that I was, when I first started boxing, the dude that was actually beating my ass every day was a state Golden Glove champs. And he fucking barbecued every day and drank like every other day, bro. Like literally, I see him drinking and he was dominant inside the ring. So I seen it firsthand. You know, I know that it's possible, but when you reach that certain level, it's like you can play later. Fight, like take shit serious like right now, you know, because there's always a time and place for a simple beer, bro. Like it's just beer, you know, but it's the timing. And then you want to play.
Just messing around with the beer, but I was curious about the protein in the steak.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not a save an animal, eat a plant type of situation. Like, no, dude, like eat steak. It's really good for you. You need fat in your system. You need calories. You need calories of fat to burn. And like, I don't know if this is true, but I'm under the belief that, you know, that saying, you are what you eat. If I eat a piece of steak, I'm going to harness that animal's energy and that strength. So if, you know, like, no, literally, bro, like, animalistic, like dude, when I eat steak, I feel fucking strong, bro. I'm like,
my dad's a butcher, bro.
My belly is full type of thing. But I'm like, whatever that cow did in his life, whatever battles that he did, you know, when he bit onto the grass. Nah, he's at the grass. No, like,
you're right though.
That's how, like, I, you know, it's the whole embodiments, the whole cycle of life. Like, dude, for instance, you know, when we die, we get buried. You know who's gonna eat me? A worm. You know who's gonna eat the worm? A fucking eagle. Like, it's reciprocated in nature. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, yeah, bro, I harness that energy. You know, you don't get the same satisfaction when you eat your little gummy, you know, your little gummy vitamins and, you know, fish oils, as opposed to if you ate fucking, you know, a salmon or some tilapia.
Synthetic.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
it's synthetic.
Bro. It's the whole mindset, everything. Like, nah, bro. Yeah. So that's why I believe Devin Haney can't hit hard, bro. Because he's got the discipline, he's got the work ethic, but bro, your diet. Your diet is what's
dude, he skips it. Devin Haney skips part of his he skipped it this year. The Ramadan, he didn't even go through that fully. So like he had a pretty decent training camp on top of that, you know, but you're right, it's the supplements, the pills, like you got to eat real shit, you know. I feel that it's all the synthetic shit that he's putting in his body, and it's good preparation, you know, but you know, there's a balance to everything.
Yeah, man. I mean, that I look again. I don't know if the science side, is siding with me, but that's just my personal experience of like how I feel when I've cut weight. Like for instance, when I would cut weight significantly, and it was a very strict diet, like fish and egg whites and salads and water. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you, I felt fucking weak. But the minute that I ate a burger, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like an In-N-Out burger. Holy shit, bro. Did I
You're
feel very energetic? I felt that 1,000 calorie of meat, pause. But I felt the burger, and the potatoes and the tomatoes and the lettuce all in one. So when I was fucking cracking the heavy bag, like I could feel like I was gonna break my wrist and my fist on that bag. I was like, hell yeah, bro. And then when
yeah.
I would hit the little, when I would hit the bags and I was like on a salad and a fish diet, like damn, bro, I was fast as hell, but I was like, man, I feel fragile as fuck. I felt like a shallow of myself. But anyway, man,
Yeah. Yep.
Vince,
Yep.
salute to you, brother. Good afternoon, fellas. Good afternoon, man. Happy Sunday. Happy church day. Hope you guys are all doing well. We're just talking a little bit of boxing. The little bit of nonsense that we talk about on a daily basis. Not scientifically proven and anything like that. Is just off the hip. But man, hopefully you're doing well, Vince. Ruben Villa is gonna have a fight next month. I'm excited for that,
Yup.
dude.
Let's go.
Hopefully, let me ask you something, Drew. Um, this is the fourth fight, possibly the fourth and final fight, unless he extended a contract with Top Rank. But he's
Ruben?
fighting like Sacagawea. He keeps fighting the same recycled fighters. No offense to those fighters, because Brandon Valdez, when I saw him fight against Ruben, he was putting hands on Ruben. He's a good fighter. He's tough. I don't care what his record of 24 wins and 3 losses. That was a legit fighter. But Ruben Villa is fighting a guy who's 16-4. I think he's from the Philippines.
Okay.
Why isn't he fighting Robeisy Ramirez? Like, where's the title shot? Didn't Rick Merrigan say that he was going to get a title shot this year? Like, what's going
Yeah.
on, man? Do you think
You know,
Top Rank sees something, or the matchmakers in Top Rank see something in Ruben that they have to slow him down into the process? Like, am I missing something?
yeah. I think what we miss behind is what goes down behind the scenes, obviously, but you know, one or two things, right? Um, they either know at this point they're either like really confident that this guy can become a world champion, or they're playing it safe at this point. Maybe they've seen a hole. There's, you know, I call them, I keep saying it, I call it quizzes. Um, you know, when these guys don't have fights, they still got to stay in shape. They still got to be in camp mode. So
Yeah, be active.
I, yeah, still be active. But I think you know, maybe there was a quiz that was given to Ruben, you know, inspiring or something, and maybe they seen something. They're like, well, what? This guy's gonna have trouble with this guy because of the guy that we put him in or something, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
there still is time this year. It's June. We're still in the first half of the year. Um, to be safe, maybe one more fight. Maybe the next fight will be a world title fight. But maybe another thing is maybe they need a domino to fall. Maybe they need somebody to either, you know, maybe they think somebody is gonna lose their belt, and Ruben can be put in play for a vacant belt. You know,
Ah,
so you
interesting.
know,
Yeah.
so maybe they're waiting on something as well.
Do you
You know,
think Ruben
so
Villa could beat Nick Ball?
yeah, I think he can beat Ball. I think I was kind of disappointed in Raymond Ford, man. I was like,
Yeah, me too.
uh, yeah, I was disappointed in him. I thought he would be a little more dominant, bro. Like
Same.
he, dude, I can see like Ruben's jab, bro. Ruben's jab is sticking out so much in his division. I think this fight, um, and maybe that's another thing. Maybe they're trying to expose that beautiful jab that Ruben has a little bit more. You know, a little
Can
less
you win?
tension
Can
with
you
the
be a
jab. Yeah,
champion and you like with it. Yeah, because I guess Devin Haney beat George Kambosos with a jab in the first fight. So yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
Ruben's jab. Ruben's jab is a problem, bro. And
Do you
maybe they're
think
trying to.
Ruben's got
Yeah.
chin, bro? Do you think Ruben can take a punch like from Nick Ball?
Um. Shit. Ruben's chin hasn't been tested too much, but he's really just gotten knocked down by flash knockdown. So it's hard to say, like
Yeah,
what that chin durability looks like because Navarrete not the hardest puncher, and Valdez is a fucking that the Brandon Valdez was probably was that his name? Yeah, I think so. But like he punched hard too, bro.
yeah, he
And
did.
he took
He did.
he took him pretty hard. He took him pretty good. Um, so Ball actually is gonna would force Ruben to use that jab way more, and I like that footwork that he has as well. So I think, dude, he has a good chance to get to Nick Ball, bro. It's
Yeah, I
just
think
that
so too.
I thought Raymond Ford would do what Ruben is good at, and it was that jab, and I'm like, man, like what happened? You look so
Yeah,
damn good at your last fight. Um, we knew that you weren't a power puncher, but I just thought you were like uh, a good counter puncher and a good had a good jab, But it's just Ruben is different. Ruben got better footwork. Ruben, I can actually kind of say that he has a better jab than Raymond Ford. So you know, there's a lot of things that could be put in play for Ruben. I also feel like they're taking him uh across country a little bit, to actually get his name out there. And they're really trying to score bank in on the Mexican community. You went to Texas and then you went to in Stockton. It's pretty much all, he's not gonna fight in New York. He's not like Puerto Rican or any of those like little islands. So I almost feel like, you're Puerto Rican, you fight in the East Coast, Florida, New York, but they're trying to get his name out there um first, and I feel like they're trying to see if they can get a knockout. You said it's his last promotion, his last contract.
I
Is
don't
that
know.
what
I
you're
think
saying?
it was a 3 or 4 fight deal with Top Rank. So I'm
It
just
was
like,
it was a 5.
it was a 5 fight deal.
Yeah, it was a 5.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so I guess this is yeah, so I guess this one would be one more, and then hopefully a championship fight. Maybe look, I'm gonna say this, bro. I feel like I guess if you have a 5 fight deal, then Top Rank is doing proper. I just feel like at the age of 26 or 27 that Ruben is, or 28, it's time, bro. You know, you're
Yeah.
not going to get any better, or in terms of quote unquote your man strength when you were in your 19s, 20s, or 21s up until now that you're 26 to 28. Like you have to have figured it out, you
Yeah.
know. And I just like not only just inside the ring, right? But it's like outside of it as well. Like you have to build yourself like how these other amateurs that have a high decorated career like yourself, like they have that backing. Like you should be calling out there the other Olympians that you fought. Like for instance, even though a lot of people always like to, you know, minimize the importance in the amateur, like, oh, he beat me in the amateurs, or Virgil Ortiz and Frank Martin, or Ryan Garcia beat Virgil Ortiz 3 times in the amateurs. But Ryan always brings it up. And I feel like that's what Ruben needs to bring up. It's like, oh, yeah, I beat Shakur Stevenson in the amateurs. Oh, I also fought Gary Russell Jr. So call them out professionally. I just feel like Ruben, he doesn't get those championship fights because people are going to be like, to your point, like the only shot that he's really going to get is if Ray Vargas and those champions, vacate the belts because they're not going to want to fight Ruben Villa, who's crafty, who, might outbox them. But they're not going to pull up a good performance and it's going to hurt their stock. And then you might get beat and now you have no leverage. So it's just like, I feel like
Yeah.
Ruben has to play to the crowd a little bit and just build your profile. Because to your point,
Hmm.
he does have a good jab. He does have a good footwork. He has a really good understanding of boxing. He might not have that punch that we necessarily love to find in these fighters, but it's just like, bro, call out these, like, oh, this is our amateur background, guys. Don't forget about me, because if you don't really build, like, a promotional company can only promote you so much if you're not going to really like pander to the cameras having a vicarious take or whatever the case may be. Like you have to promote yourself more so. Use the platform and the resources that you have, but you got to take initiative, not just inside the ring, but outside of it. And I feel like if Ruben were to do this, like, yeah, bro, I'm a Olympian alternate. I would have beaten Shakur. He beat me, but I can fight Robeisy Ramirez. Like, you have to build your own mega fight. And Ruben hasn't really played to that crowd to build his own mega fights. Like, he's just waiting for that mandatory position to get in that spot, and so he can get that opportunity. But sometimes you have to make your own mega fights, and I just don't know where the direction Top Rank is taking Ruben. Is Ruben, to your point, you said something like quizzes. You were talking about quizzes.
Yeah.
Maybe he hasn't passed that eye test quiz when he's supposed to spar Devin Haney, and you had one or two good rounds, but when the going got deep, maybe you didn't piece him apart when we expected him to. Who knows? I'm not exactly too sure what the quiz would look like or the eye test that the matchmakers have, but I'm just like, damn, bro, like, yes, you're fighting this guy to keep you active. I'm proud, but like, you couldn't have that against Robeisy Ramirez or an Isaac Dogbo or a Joet Gonzalez, somebody in the top 10 that we actually know. And it's just like, you keep thinking the Brandon Valdez's of the world. You fuck around, these guys might just beat you because you have that Devin Haney power. So it's like, I don't know, man. But Adi Medi goes, Ray Ford looked weight drained. You can tell by his cheeks. I was hoping that Raymond Ford would rehydrate 20 plus pounds over Nick Ball because, he was cutting down a lot of weight. He did look a little bit wagering, and he has been telling us for a couple of times that, even his last victory where he became a champion, that he was going to move up. But I was hoping Raymond Ford would, obviously have a hard cut as he always has. But then I would think that he would rehydrate and be so much bigger than Nick Ball. He was bigger than Nick Ball, but you couldn't really tell because he didn't really sit on his punches. He was being cute with his jab, little stab to the abdomen. And it's just like, you have to have more. You have to throw power punches because Nick Ball is throwing nothing but haymakers at you, and he has more balls than you because he's willing, because he's X amount shorter than you with arm length and height. He has to get on the inside and he has to take risks. And I just felt like Raymond Ford didn't want to take those risks. He took calculated risks and they almost paid off. But I felt like he should have really stamped, that I'm a legit dude. I was a force at 126, but I beat him by knockout, but he didn't want to take those risks. So, yeah, man, he did look a little weight drained, but I'll say this, his level of activity, that's how Raymond Ford always fights. Like, he always has close fights. When he fought the guy in Texas, my boy not Eduardo Hernandez.
Baez?
Not Eduardo Baez. Eddie Vasquez. When he fought Eddie Vasquez, I thought Vasquez beat him. And Raymond Ford was very inactive. But when Raymond Ford throws his punches, like when Adrian Brunner would throw his punches and let his hands go, they looked amazing. But, yeah, man, I don't know. We'll see where Raymond Ford goes from here. Obviously, he's going to have to work himself again in the rankings at 130 because he can't enforce, the mandatory position because he's lost his WBA belt. But I think he'll be fine at 130, man. I can see him having good fights with what's his name? Jermaine Bell, the 6-footer. I think he can do well with Oscar Valdez. I think he can beat the guy that just beat Joe Cordina, and Eddie Hearn has ties to all of those belts, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he should be all right, man. But we'll see. But, yeah, man, congratulations to Nick Ball. I didn't think that – I thought he would get knocked out. Like Jamel Herring, when he knocked out Carl Frampton, I thought Raymond Ford would knock out Nick Ball. He almost did in the 12th round with that hellacious uppercut. But, it just wasn't enough. Correction.
He needed –
Albert, I said Jeremiah Bell.
But he needed to do that, though, in the first round. Let him know that, hey, this uppercut's here.
Yep.
And you better stay back before you get wrecked, and that it hurt him. It actually did hurt him, but in the 12th round, kind of similar to the Odebek fight, it's like he was hoping for a 12th round wonder, and it didn't come through. And he needs to be able to maintain that same level of tenacity, throughout the whole fight, And I feel like Ruben knows how to keep that same energy, kind of match effort, round for round because, what's his name? Nick Ball got at least 7 rounds of full on effort to win the fight, you know? And that's
Yeah.
what it takes to win the fight. 7 full fucking rounds, 7 winning rounds, like a full effort. And I think Ruben can do that. Ruben is more than capable of doing that. And as for Raymond Ford, I'm like, bro, I was speaking so highly of you this previous fight. So he's really like an up and down fighter in a sense. You
Yeah.
know, kind of sucks. But I mean, he's still a problem. He's still gonna be a problem. He's gonna be moving up. So I think he's gonna generate like more power now. So we'll see where he goes, man. But Ruben, man, that's the topic now, man. Ruben,
Yeah.
definitely can't wait, man. I can't wait. I think this year I'm still holding Rick Merrigan to his words. He's gonna be a world champion this year. That's what he said. So I don't know if it'll make him look bad. Obviously, you speaking this highly of Ruben, makes us pretty hyped. So we hope you're right. We hope he's right. And yeah, man, we'll see. Kind of depends on who the fighter is, But these 126 pounders are really like unpredictable, bro. Like it's really how these guys feel mentally. Like you don't know what the fuck is going on in their heads. We don't know if they're nervous. We don't know anything, So I feel like 126 pounders are just really hard to call sometimes, because they're so up and down.
Yeah, I agree. Simon J. I missed his comment like 30 minutes ago. My granddad worked for Barry Hearn. Eddie Hearn just inherited an empire. War Speed goes, do you think Eddie is managing and doing well with Matchroom? All right, so Matchroom just their stock, they're penny stocks right now. I would say, probably drop $1,000 on their on some Matchroom stock because there's there's 3 general rules of investing: buy low and sell high. Diversify your portfolio. So right now is the perfect time to buy some stock in Matchroom because they took an ass beating by the hands of Frank Warren and Queensberry Rural's promotional company. Bro, they pitched a shutout. Every single Eddie Hearn fighter, and a couple of them were undefeated, they got beat. And some of these fights were very close and competitive, and other ones were not. Eddie Hearn right now and Matchroom, yes, they've done a great job in terms of making that company global, especially in the sport of boxing, because I think Matchroom had always been successful, especially in snooker. Unless I'm pronouncing it incorrect, but they've always done a great job in darts and all these little themes under Barry Hearn. When obviously Eddie Hearn inherited the keys as the prodigy, he's done an excellent job. But I will say this: Eddie Hearn is a really good promoter in terms of understanding the social media game, run and controlling the narrative and using the cameras and keeping his name relevant. He's done a great job of keeping his company relevant. Essentially, that's how he gets all these opportunities and these gigs. And essentially, that's why the zone sided with Eddie Hearn. But I'm going to tell you this. He still doesn't know his boxing. He still does not know how to match make his opponents. And this is why I always bet against him, except this fucking weekend. I always usually bet against Eddie Hearn's fighters like Ramla Ali, when she fought Julissa Guzman and got knocked out. Eddie Hearn always puts his fighters in bad situations to get their ass beat. And for some reason, I did not want to listen to that. And I thought, man, these guys are going to win. Frank Warren knows his boxing, right? He might not be as hip and as charismatic as Eddie Hearn, but when it comes down to knowing boxing,
He knows his shit.
the limited amount of roster that Frank Warren's able to, Frank Warren knows a thing or two.
He knows styles, dude.
Has hustle to him. And right now is the best time to buy stock in Matchroom, man, because it's going low. Frank Warren beat that boy, and it wasn't even close. Every single one of Eddie Hearn's fighters in this 5 versus 5 fight competition that they have, this knockout king situation with incentives, he did not even win one fight.
Crazy.
2 undefeated fighters that he had, Philip Pergovic, he said that he was telling Daniel Dubois in his face off that he didn't have balls. He basically fucking quit after a cut, probably caused from a headbutt or whatever the case may be. And he was winning that fight against Daniel Dubois, but he knew Daniel knew something, and he knew that he can beat and wear down in a dogfight Philip Pergovic, and I think he was going to take him out. So Philip Pergovic knew that the tides were changing, and
Hey, this shows you how
he bitched
it
out.
shows you. Yeah, it shows you how great Usyk is too. Though I was like, damn, like you losing to a cruiserweight, but yeah, no, Dubai's a decent fighter, bro. Like I think he'll give
Dubai.
AJ some. I said Dubai, huh?
Yeah, I mean that might be his name, bro. I don't even know.
That is right. I'm saying it right or wrong. I don't know,
No, I
but
I don't know. I don't know if it's Dubois but Dubai sounds fine.
yeah, yeah, Dubai, yeah, whatever, man. But yeah, no, Dubai has power on both hands. Um, it's really like his mentality that throws not his mentality, but like how soft spoken he is. Like seems like a chill ass dude, like doesn't seem like he has dog in him, but he does, man. He does he does, bring with some come with some dog. Except he'll have some issues with true boxers,
Can he beat
you know.
AJ?
I'm starting to think no. Just because of how he looked against a Usyk. I think Usyk's body is more it can get hurt a little more than the AJ. I think AJ is a little more durable because to heavier punches, except AJ don't got Usyk's hands, you know. And I think but I think it's good enough to meet him halfway for the win. It'll be a close ass fight though, a close ass fight, and it'll go the distance. And then maybe AJ, gets the decision because of his IQ. I think that's what separates AJ is the IQ. He got power though. Dubai got power, but um, AJ got the IQ and enough power to keep him at bay. And yeah, I just didn't think highly of Dubai, but now I'm like, okay, maybe I underestimated him, but I'm still kind of underestimating him against an AJ. Um, Someone that doesn't move his head. That's who Dubai beats. I think he'll have a good chance against a Zhang, someone who doesn't move his head a lot.
Yeah.
Um, a shorter guy, a smaller man would have trouble against like Joseph Parker, you know, someone that does move his head, So, um, yeah, that's what it takes to beat a Dubai is moving your head and keeping them at bay. But if
Let
you
me
ain't
ask
doing
you
none of
this:
that, you
these
ain't caught.
fighters that Eddie Hearn put on display last night, were these his best fighters that he had on his roster?
Hmm.
And if they are, then my question turns into this: does Eddie Hearn know how to pick them?
No, I think he's just doing favors. I feel like you can tell by the way he was talking about his fighters. He was really like thinking about what the fuck he was saying rather than saying what was in his heart, And you could just tell, man. I mean, he did these guys a favor. It was more of a promotional thing, but I think next time he needs to pick his fighters a little better. And I think what it's gonna do is actually start this wave of I already said it 5-on-5s, but it's also gonna be like, hey, like these fighters that are in the cards are gonna have more say because it's gonna be about the prize at the end. They're gonna be like, hey, I don't want this fighter. He's gonna lose to that fighter. I want a new fighter, and then they can vote on it and then be like, hey man, we think you're gonna lose. Like we want the best. We're trying to get this money, at the end of the night, and I think it's gonna lead to better picking of the fighters, and yeah, man, I just feel like he was just they were aiming for like you can tell like it was all the blacks and all the whites against each other except Dubai. Um,
No,
it was kind of
it's
lined
true.
up.
It's true. Yeah, they had
It
Craig
was
Richards, and he's fighting the Scotland, and then there was
yeah,
Nick Paul versus Raymond Ford. There was
maybe,
Philip Bergovic. No, there was definitely a
and
lot
I
of
think they're
subliminal races and
they were
subliminal. Oh,
reaching
no,
they
I
were
feel that.
reaching they were reaching for that, and I feel like it didn't work towards Eddie Hearn's advantage, so I think next time they don't gotta It shouldn't be about that. It should be
All the
about
white guys
country.
won.
I know. It should be country.
Well,
It
except
should,
Eddie Dubois.
yeah, but it should be. But it should be literally. It should be country versus country. Or my bad. My bad. No, it shouldn't be about
No,
that. It should be
I
about.
like what they were
It
trying to
should be
build.
about.
There's a lot of they're playing to that, they're playing to the
Yeah,
whole situation, But this was a great rivalry between Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren
it
that's
was.
been lingering for like the past decade or so. So it's really good. Turkey Al Sheik, he's the one with Mexico versus American fighters, right? Canelo versus Terrence Crawford, Pitbull versus Shakur. He's the one that's trying to make, play that race game when it comes down to that little hypothetical fights that he was trying to put, which is very interesting for Turkey Ali Sheik. Pretty smart business actually pandering to that. But look, man, Matchroom has, as PBC is losing the control of a lot of their fighters, right? Like Jaron Boots Ennis and stuff. Matchroom is trying to pick up loose fighters that they can get from the PBC, as they've been trying to do for like ever since their manifestation when they landed here through Manifest Destiny like 5-6 years ago. But they still have Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez, Dimitri Bivol, but almost everybody else, they pretty much lost, right? They picked up Subriel Matias, Jaron Boots Ennis, Israel Madrimov. They have like, I don't know, 10, 15 fighters. But this last weekend, a lot of their fighters lost. On top of a lot of their fighters losing, Joe Cordina lost. Alicia Baumgartner cheated. Katie Taylor, she might lose to Amanda Serrano. Dimitri Bivol won. Juan Francisco Estrada is fighting Bam Bam Rodriguez. And then they have all of the women: Terry Harper, Sandy Ryan, Ellie Scottney, Erica Cruz, Sky Nicholson, and that's all the champions. They got like 6 more of the champions. They're all females. So Matchroom took a beating, bro. And obviously in the name of competition, to me, a loss isn't the end of the world. I was extremely entertained by yesterday's bouts. Most of them ended in knockouts. So that was pretty fucking good. And then the ones that didn't, I don't know, 3 out of the 5 fights ended in knockouts, right?
It was two.
Sherrod ended up beating and knocking out Amo Williams. Deontay Wilder got knocked out. Daniel Dubois got a TKO stoppage. And then Craig Richards, the opening fight was really good. And then Raymond Ford so it was a good bang for your buck. So I got to ask you, was that a pay-per-view worthy fight for you?
Yeah. I think if you can put Bivol in a pay-per-view fight on the undercard, I mean, that's somebody who beat Canelo. That's somebody who deserves to be considered one of the best fighters in the world, really. And you pair that with the Zhang versus Deontay Wilder fight. Maybe Bivol's fighter, maybe Bivol's opponent could have been better, but his his performance didn't match his name. It was a really good performance from Malik Zinad, and he looked like a good fighter. He just wasn't a big name.
Yeah,
So
I would agree. He looked pretty good, man.
yeah, and he just wasn't a big name. And then you got Hamza, and then Austin Williams, another undefeated. Yeah, it was uh maybe it could have gone a little cheaper, but just because we shouldn't be paying a certain price for pay-per-view as it is. I feel like pay-per-views should be priced in at a certain, I don't know, it shouldn't be $100 or like $90 or anything like that, no matter who it is. But yeah, man, this pay-per-view was worth it. I streamed it. But it's the way I'm set up, man. Not financially, it's just I got a streaming box that's set up on the living room, and it's like, why am I gonna
Don't self-incriminate yourself, bud.
huh? Oh no, they can sue Superbox. They can sue my parents. It's not mine. I'm just kidding. But nah, man, it's there. It's out in the market. They sell it for everyone to get. But no, it was worth the money. It was worth the money that you could have paid for, and I pay subscription, man. I pay all that subscription stuff. So,
Yeah.
uh, so shit. That's all I felt like I needed to pay for right there. But hey, I mean, not saying that it wasn't pay-per-view worthy, but um, if you paid for it, I mean, good for you, man. I mean, um, yeah, man. It's at our expense. We are the fans that make it happen.
That's
So
fucking right.
yeah, man. So
Yeah,
Let me
no,
ask you a
and
question, bro.
I'm doing
You know,
overtime right now talking about it.
moving on into the future, bro. You know, Raymond Ford lost. The reason I bring him up is him. He was going back and forth. I guess there's a rivalry that they had with a guy named Shoo Carrington, Bruce
Mm,
Almighty. And Bruce Almighty, Bruce Carrington, Shushu, he's fighting this
mm,
weekend on the
I like
undercard of
that name.
Wander Zayas versus Patrick Teixeira and Delonte Tiger Johnson. Shushu
Mm.
Carrington is a up and coming fighter who's 11-0, but he's gonna be fighting some dude that's very interesting, bro. His name is Enrique Vivas. Ever heard of Enrique?
Yeah, that's the dude that fought Ruben, no?
No,
He
but
fought
yes, you are correct. How do you know that shit, bro?
dude, I've looked at Ruben's resume so many times now that I kind of know his opponents.
Yeah.
But I remember watching his fight. Guess where we watched that fight? In my garage. Remember? We watched it in my garage in my little TV. We watched it all together on YouTube. I mean on Facebook.
Órale,
Uh,
vato, órale.
yeah, so I remember that guy really clearly, and he's tough, man. He's a tough fighter. But dude, if Bruce can get the knockout, go ahead. What were we gonna say before I get ahead of that? Go ahead.
No, like to your point, maybe look, Shushu Carrington is 11-0. This dude is fast, this dude is strong, but let's make no mistake, this dude can get beat. You know, Tiger Johnson could get beat. Like for me, there's only a few select black fighters, American fighters that can get beat. I just feel like the way that their style is going to be very difficult. And there's only a select few of fighters that, that really know the whole sport and how they're going about circumventing certain fighters. I just don't see these three guys getting beat in the near future the way that they've been maneuvering and managing their career. One would be Boots Ennis, one would be Shakur Stevenson, and Tank Davis. I think they can get beat, but I feel like they haven't really been taking the tough fights for them to do get beat. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
Bruce Shu Carrington is an up and coming fighter who, you know, in my opinion, hasn't really fought nobody. I think Enrique
Yeah.
Vivas might give him a good fight. I don't know. I was just thinking like, because one of the things that I look for in terms of upsets, right, is who you fighting, how fast you're fighting them, especially when it comes down to prospects. Enrique Vivas has double the experience of Bruce Carrington. He's fought guys like Ruben Villa. Yes, he got beat. He fought Joet Gonzalez and Eduardo Baez, but these guys are tough.
Mm.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, he was giving these guys a pretty good fight. Yes, he is limited, but I'm thinking to myself, like, eh,
Look, I
this is going to be Bruce Carrington's toughest fight, you know?
it is, but I think
Kyushu is
go ahead.
supposed to be a fucking force. But I just wanted to pick your brain about like what you think about it. You know what I mean? Like, they have this dude in the top 20, and I'm thinking to
Right.
myself, like,
Yeah.
that's thinking to myself,
So I think Ruben did hurt Enrique like I forget which round it was. He did have him hurt. I want to say he actually almost dropped him, but I think it was like a clean sweep, bro. Um
yeah,
Ruben just completely just yeah, he swept him, and then he fought Joet Gonzalez, who doesn't really have the jab that Ruben has, and he barely or he didn't sweep him, but he got some rounds on Joet too. But against a Shushu, I think Shushu will get him hurt a little bit, and this is the difference between Shushu and Ruben. Shushu goes for the kill. He goes for the kill once he sees you hurt.
yeah,
But he does it tactically. He doesn't do it all sloppy. Like you know how you get excited. They get excited when they see someone hurt and they get sloppy. Bruce not like that. Bruce gets even cleaner. He gets crisper.
yeah.
And that's his style. Um,
Bruce not like
but
that.
but yeah, no, Bruce not like that, bro. Because Bruce is actually Bruce. I get him confused like a 130 pounder, bro. Like I almost feel like he's a full fledged 130, but just because
Yeah,
of the way he's laying these guys out, like It
Oh,
says that he has a lot of power behind them hooks. I think he stops him. I think he stops Enrique just because of that memory that I have of Enrique. He was hurt. He was hurt against Ruben, but Ruben um, was playing this. I think he was in a different mode in that point of his career. I feel like he wasn't. He also wasn't with Top Rank, so he didn't have too much pressure on him. Obviously he wants to win, but he didn't have that Top Rank pressure. Like, oh, I'm
yeah,
with a good promotion. I'm gonna go all out. Ruben was just happy to be a professional, and he's getting wins and. So maybe, yeah, I'm saying Bruce will probably knock him out, bro. I think he's gonna get the knockout and go for the kill. Maybe Ruben is capable of doing the same too, because he's in a different mode right now. But I just feel like Ruben. I think Bruce he's not gonna lay him out like he did. I forget which fighter. He just laid him the fuck out, and
yeah.
he
It was bad.
yeah, yeah, and he made him look all like, yeah, it was crazy, but he's not gonna make him look like that because Enrique is like strong, I think he'll break him down little by little. 10 rounds.
Yeah, this is gonna
And
be his first test for sure, man. Look, the what I was saying earlier is,
yeah,
Truck Simpson, Lorenzo Truck Simpson, the Baltimore kid, like 160, 168 pounds.
give me a sec, give me a sec.
Lost to Vladimir Hernandez, right? This Mexican Russian, and this is Shushu Carrington's, in my opinion, his first test, because everybody else that he's been fighting and knocking him out, like his last opponent that he knocked out, like in 4 rounds or 2 rounds, that it was like hellacious, that was like up there with knockouts of the year. I don't know if it was against Jason Sanchez or Bernardo Torres. I'm not too sure, but those guys aren't battle tested. Like, they haven't really fought dudes that we've known. Bruce is fighting this guy named Enrique Vivas, and we know Enrique Vivas' 3 losses, right? Ruben Villa, Joel Gonzalez, and Eduardo Baez, and none of those guys could knock out. None of those guys could knock out Enrique. So maybe, to your point, this is the opportunity that Shushu has, to prove a point that I hit harder than these dudes. If he's the dude, he knocks this dude out. But if he's not the dude, it could be an upset, man. Could be an upset. Yeah, Speed. Craig Richards, he just came up short, man. He was very lackadaisical. He didn't really want to throw his punches. He in the beginning, all he wanted to do was throw a jab. And every single time he threw a jab, the other guy would meet him with a right hand over the top. So the dude secured like the first 5 rounds off the get-go. Then Craig Richards, had to change up his game plan, had a little press the action, but then he would get rocked, or he would look like, he's running out of stamina. And then the dude would, shit, my bad, bro. Did I put you back in? Yeah, I did. And then,
Yeah.
So yeah, off the get-go, man, we lost them bets. But yeah, you had Dubois, you had Nick Ball, and I think you went Zhang or Wilder. I would have to actually log in to see who, but he almost had it, dude.
Yeah.
He almost fucking had it.
Yeah, dude, he could have knocked out Hutchinson too. It was just it got sloppy towards the end of the rounds, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that I was kind of heated too, because I was like the first fight, and I had put this big old parlay together, and literally all my parlays went away because of that fight, and I was like, I'm not even gonna bet. I'm gonna just enjoy this fight, and yeah, bro. Like, I was like, this isn't heading towards a good direction as far as Matchroom versus fucking, Queensberry. Like, yeah, it was just a bad look. I had heard Hutchinson had power on both hands, and I was like, I don't think so, man. I think, and then Hutchinson said in the press conference, said, I punch harder than the dude that knocked you out. And then I seen Hutchinson's face, and he just froze up, and I was like, it's gonna be a knockout, and it didn't end that way. And yeah, man, it was just, yeah, gut wrenching loss for Hutchinson. It's just, he wasn't ready, man. He was not ready.
Ready, man. Ready. Yeah, man. I agree. It's gonna be very interesting, man. But yeah, dude. Salute to Frank Warren. Eddie Hearn has to eat some humble pie. Not to say that they were talking a lot of shit back and forth. It looks like they've been both happy Frank Warren. See, at first, when I would remember when Coogan Cassius on IFL TV was interviewing these guys back and forth in separate situations and separate settings, Frank Warren had a lot to say, and he was very upset with Eddie Hearn. Now that they've securing the the money pipeline with Saudi Arabia, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn are amicably making money together, snorting the same coke and dancing with the same stripper shirtless. So these guys are happy and they're living life and they're making money. And Frank Warren just picks a 10-0 zip, right? 10-0 on Eddie Hearn, bro. So Eddie Hearn right now has to try to steal more PBC fighters. He's got to try to get David Benavidez and all of these dudes. But as we are 2 weeks removed from a stellar Amazon Prime card between Tank versus the Ghost, Frank Martin, Alexander Vosdik against David Benavidez, and Liam Paro versus Subriel Matias and Eddie Hearn signee. How do you see those 3 fights going, bro?
Man. What were the other 2 fights? Oh, yeah. Volzdek, Benavidez, Tank, Martin, and what was the third one?
Yeah, so it's there's probably going to be more stacked card. I think
Okay.
Carmel Moulton was supposed to be one of the preliminaries as well. The whole
Yeah.
card, to my knowledge, has or hasn't been announced. I don't know. But main events, of course, is Gervonta, the Big Tank Davis, and he's fighting Frank, the Skinny Ghost Martin. Co-main event, David Eat Your Hamburger Benavidez is fighting Alexander Russian Vosdik, and you have Leon Paul versus the Puerto Rican Subriel Matias. How do you see those fights going? Do you see all being upsets? Favorite guys will win? Like, how do you see this shit going, man?
Man. Shit. Hold on. Yeah, dude. Fucking. I think that Pato fight versus Matias, that's like that's its own event, I think. But that one's like a toss up, bro. A lot of people going for Pato. I think Pato can take it, bro. I think Pato probably beats him by decision, honestly. But I think Matias is gonna show his pet, like he's gonna show his level in this fight, and I'm not saying that he's all this world beater. I'm saying that he's gonna get exposed in a sense where maybe this guy isn't like that killer that we think he is. He just a come forward fighter. Um, because he was getting touched against a Hergovich. I felt like Hergovich could have beat him. He was on the way out. And I think it was all about the
Whoa,
mentality for
who
Hergovich.
was touching? Who was Hergovich touching? Who you talking about?
Hergovich was touching, fucking Matias a little bit up until he hurt him, but I just felt like he wasn't giving his full on effort. I felt like I was seeing another.
Ergashev.
My bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
like Hergovich, man, he just got knocked out. Nah.
I know. My bad.
Ergashev. Yeah, Ergashev.
Yeah, Ergashev. Dude, I was saying that so confident too. But
yeah, it's like, man, I felt that, bro. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, no, yeah. So that guy, he fought a lot differently in his previous fights, and then in the Matias fight, I'm like, bro, what is this? Like I seen a little glimpse of it, but it was a mentality thing for him. He was on the way out, and Bottle's crisp. He's a clean fighter. He'll trade with you if he has to, and he's an intelligent fighter. Like he behaves like he behaves like a fighter in there. Like he knows what to do in there. So I think Bottle does have a good chance, bro. I don't think he's gonna hurt him. But we'll see, man. He is a come forward fighter. Matias is. And
Leon Paro, he reminds me of Jack Catterall. Very just cool, calm demeanor in him. Obviously, he can hit a little harder than Jack Catterall, but I just feel like that level of slickness where it's not Pernell Whitaker, but it's enough to like stand there and like make you miss and make you pay. Now with Subriel Matias, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. This dude is like an Emmanuel Navarrete for me. in the sense where like I keep betting against them because they get hit a lot, bro.
Yeah.
And then, but like when I see Subriel Matias against Jeremiah Ponce de Leon or some shit, Ponce the Argentinian, who was like 30-0 with like 27 KOs, bro. That was such an entertaining fucking fight. I think they only lasted 5 rounds, and then the Argentinian got dropped, and then he quit on the stool. But in the first round or 3 rounds, I think he threw like 150 punches per round, and Matias was eating all of those shots, bro. I'm talking about hellacious uppercuts with both hands, like Ponce, like he just stood in the center, and Ponce was wailing on him like boom, 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 toma way, ba, chela way, boom, Fanta way, boom, cerveza way. Like, he was just nailing left and right, fucking throwing all these punches, and Matias, not one fucking cut, not one blemish, not one step back. I was like, this, and dude, just a fucking high guard, and I was like, no way. And then when he would throw his little punches, he wasn't punching in between. He would just, I'm gonna just let you tire yourself out, and then boom, 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 and then you just see Matias's face, gah, gah, gah. Bro, it was like, what the fuck, bro? It was crazy. And then Ergashev starts off good too, throwing all those punches from the southpaw stance. And then Matias was like, watch me, boom, boom, boom. And Ergashev quit too. And now I'm like, this motherfucker, bro, Matias is a bad man, bro. Like, you know, like, I believe the hype, bro. And then when you see these dude, he's like a Josh Taylor right now, bro, like fighting all these undefeated cats. Bro, Leon Paro, 24-0. Ergashev, 23-0. Jeremias Nicolas Ponce, 30-0. Jukinbayev, 18-0. Malik Hawkins, 18-0. Dadashev, 13-0. I'm like, bro, Josh Taylor was doing shit like that. Jose Ramirez, 24-0. You know, Teofimo Lopez, 19-1. You know, Ryan Martin, 14-0. And I'm like, this fucking dude, Subriel Matias, is that guy, bro. He's that guy. And when everybody mentions his name, guys like Richard Hitchens is like, I'm not going to fight him for his IBF belt. You know, I'll fight him, but I need to rehydrate to like 170 pounds. I'm like, this dude is a real deal Holyfield. This dude's a fucking force. Everyone is literally scared of him. And
you know what they
myself with Leon Paro, I'm like, he's another guy that has a lot of undefeated fighters, but I don't know them. Like, I don't know who Brock Jarvis is. I don't know who Yomar Alamo is, you know, or James Sedeji. But these guys are all undefeated as well. But I know those Matias dudes, and I'm like, damn. I don't. Like, to your point, I want to root for Leon Paro, but like,
you know who you said Paro?
Man, bro.
You said Paro reminds you of Catterall. You know who Matias reminds me of?
Benavides.
Oh no. Oh, I guess so. A little bit. You know, a little bit. And I'm saying charisma, and I'm saying how they go about things and how they look, obviously, but Felix Trinidad.
I knew you were gonna say. I was like, this guy's gonna say Puerto Rican. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, Felix Trinidad, and Felix Trinidad. You know, I had to go back in time. You know, I gotta do my research. I'm not that old, you know, but he got knocked down a lot. You know, and came back in fights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's kind of like what Matias is, bro. Like he's willing to trade with you, and you gotta quit. That's how he's getting all these knockouts, and they're literally on the stool saying, "I don't want this no more. I don't want this no more." It's not like they're physically getting hurt.
He's a real Nomaschenko.
This is why I want Tank versus Matias. You know, they both put on pain. You know, they say, how good is your durability? Fuck boxing. You know, fuck boxing. We're gonna punch each other. Obviously in rules, obviously, but like we're gonna see who's more durable to pain after this fight. We're gonna see who quits first. And that's Tank's style too. You know, I want that fight too, but you know, Pado's smart. Pado's gonna kill all that for him. I think it's just I haven't seen Pado get hurt. Have you seen him get hurt?
No, I've only seen him fight a couple of times, to be honest with you. And that's a really good comparison with Subriel Matias and Felix Trinidad, bro. Yeah, man, Subriel Matias is like, listen, so like, I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but Subriel Matias has actually killed a man. And he's actually made undefeated fighters that are in their prime quit.
Say
right?
No.
When he had a real promoter, he's greater than Lomachenko. Or people are saying, Lomachenko, pound for pound. This guy's amazing. When you don't have a promoter, nobody even knows that you exist.
But you see why he was losing amateur fights, you know?
Well,
Like
sure,
he,
but like that's why I don't really put so much importance on amateur fighting because they're 3 rounds, 6 minutes, 3 rounds, 9 minutes. Now, I'm not saying those fights aren't tough. They're fucking tough. Because if you fight a fucking Mexican from East Los, he's just gonna throw 1,000 punches in those 9 minutes. But what I'm saying is, can you keep that pace for 12 rounds? And Matias can keep that pace, you know. But again, Subriel Matias is knocking out and stopping and making undefeated prime fighters. Pretty much, he's retiring these fighters and essentially like killing them. Like to this day, I don't even think if Ponce is fighting anymore. I think Ergashev said he was going to retire. You know, he put, you know, Dadashev on a coma, and I think they pulled the plug on Dadashev. Like this is, you know, I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but this is essentially a real life boogeyman, Subriel Matias, and he's fighting another undefeated fighter. If I didn't know any better, this guy, you know, is the next Lomachenko. This guy is Josh Taylor. He's being revered. He's getting put on people's pound for pounds, but no one is backing him. Like, you know, like, yeah, Eddie Hearn just signed him, right? But you don't even hear Eddie Hearn talking about, oh my God, dude, I just found my David Benavidez. And that's the importance of promoting, the importance of making yourself bigger than thou. And Matias is doing it the right way. He's beating a lot of these dudes that are undefeated that nobody hears about. And those are the ones that catch you off guard. Matias has yet essentially to have an off night. Yes, he has one loss, but Matias is that dude, bro. And if he had the proper promotion from the beginning, this dude's being trained, if I'm not mistaken, by a Mexican trainer with his athleticism, IQ, and the Puerto Rican background. Bro, this is nasty. This is gnarly, bro. Yeah, bro. Liam Paro. I know Liam Paro spars at the Wild Card Gym. I think I've seen Freddie Roach work some corners, but he's gonna need every single bit of toughness that East Los Angeles fucking gym produces because Subriel Matias is gonna bring it. At times, Liam Paro is gonna have to bang it out and sometimes he's gonna have to weather the storm with Subriel Matias. He's got to be able to diffuse the situation, outbox him. He's got to pull all his fucking stops. Because Matias, bro, you don't want to be in the other end of that flurry when this dude knows that he has you dead to rights and he's coming for blood. The dude is 20-1 with 20 knockouts. And the one defeat that he has, he made sure he knocked that dude out. So, dude, man, like, talk about that stellar card, bro. Not only do we have Tank Davis versus Frank Martin, 2 undefeated cats. Not only is David Benavidez undefeated fighting Alexander Volstik, one dude that has only one loss to Artur Beterbiev. We're getting Matias versus, Liam Paro, Gary Antoine Russell. He's fighting Alberto Puello, and Carlos Adames fighting Terrell Geisha. After the WBC finally strips Jamal Charlo, and they give it to Carlos Adames. I was just fucking around. I was trying to put emphasis. But, man, dude, amazing fucking fights. Dude, this is – I can't wait, bro. I can't wait.
In Puerto Rico.
I'm excited. Warp Speed goes. Ergashev just fought about 3 weeks ago and stopped his opponent in the first round, if I am not mistaken. He's fought twice since, I think. Oh, that's great, man. I liked what I saw from Ergashev. I thought he blew his wad relatively early against Subriel Matias, and then he quit. To be fair, Matias is a tough dude. Probably hits like a fucking brick and a mule, so I can't really blame him. But yeah, man, Ergashev did say that had he won or lost, that he was thinking about retirement, which really makes absolutely fucking no sense. But I'm glad that he's continued to fight, man. He looks like to have some good skills. And while he might have not beaten Subriel Matias, he could beat a Devin Haney or maybe a Teofimo Lopez. I don't know. But I'm glad that he's not retired because there's no shame in losing to a force like Subriel Matias. And if Drew 123 is correct, he is the second becoming of Felix Tito Trinidad. So when you have broad shoulders like that and you can whip those hooks and roll those punches and being trained by a Mexican trainer, from El Barrio of Sinaloa Cartel, bro, I mean, you can't really go wrong. So we will see how the situation goes, man. But if I didn't, look, guys, Subriel Matias. If you like Lomachenko, imagine Matias with knockout. You know, again, I'm not trying to be insensitive. This dude's catching bodies in the ring. He's beating undefeated fighters like Josh Taylor. He's fucking humble. You don't ever really hear him badmouth anybody, and he gets the job done by knockouts. Where's his support? And he don't have to take Austrian. Like, he don't have to be chasing ostriches and pop Austrian. Like, this dude is doing it the proper way and knocking these dudes out. Everything that we complain about these superstars, here's a diamond, here's a gem, right? Here's the needle in the haystack. Here's the bee's knees, right? And no one's supporting him. No one's supporting him.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to.
You know what I mean? Imagine if he was from Ukraine. Imagine if his last name was Lomachenko. Oh my goodness. Imagine if his last name was like, you know, Dadashev or Golovkin. If I didn't know any better, you know, I would be like, man, this dude is fucking one of them. Like, look at Madrimov, Israel Madrimov. This dude has 10 fucking fights, has beaten absolutely nobody, and we already anoint him the next Triple G just because when he walks to his corner, he puffs out his chest.
Yeah, I gotta go, bro.
Straight. I mean, he Triple G. People will say even he looks like him. But here's Subriel Matias, looks exactly like that Puerto Rican and is knocking out killers, bro. Like, to War Speed's point, he beat this dude 2 months ago, knocked him out in the first round after that loss, and no one's even caping for Subriel Matias. Like, bro, that dude, I can't wait to see how Eddie Hearn promotes that dude. I can't wait to see Andy Cruz, Keyshawn Davis, and all of these dudes, Teofimo Lopez, step up to the Subriel Matias fucking hardcore test and see if they can dethrone this dude, right? Because this dude is amazing. Like, I'm not like, he's David Benavidez with defense, right? But in the pocket, and he doesn't have he's not a sideweight bully. And these dudes like Richard Hitchens are ducking him, and they will say, I will fight him, just not under the IBF rules because I need to rehydrate like Devin Haney, 30 plus pounds to have a fair chance of beating this dude. Like, I'm not just making that stuff up or hyping him up. Resume. And there's interviews that these guys are saying that they respect that dude's skill and they just don't want to fucking fight him under fair rules. That's crazy, fellas. That's crazy. I'm really excited for this undercard. Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. Look, I'm not even going to lie to you, fellas. I think Frank the Ghost Martin can beat Davis. This is one of the fights where Tank Davis can't put on, you know, I don't know, you know, when it comes down to stipulations on his contract, he's not going to weight drain Frank Martin. He's not going to put a rehydration clause on Frank Martin. He's actually fighting a full-fledged 135-pounder that's active, not coming off injury. He's fighting actually one of the only real deals that he's actually fought in his whole career. I'm not the biggest believer in Tank Davis. I like his skills. He's obviously really good, but he's not that great. He is not a pound-for-pound fighter. Because how can you be a 135 champion when Devin Haney was undisputed? How can you be a 140 champion when Josh Taylor is undisputed? Tank Davis is only a one-division champion, and that's when he beat Pedraza, okay? If we're fucking being real here, he only has one belt, one weight class. He's not a pound-for-pound fighter. When he fights all these dudes, catch weights, they come off inactivity, he's making them move up in weight, like Hector Luis Garcia, Leo Santa Cruz, all of these dudes, and then he's going to cap you like he did with Mario Barros and, you know, Ryan Garcia if you're fucking above 5'6" in height. He gets all scared. It's all insecure. Look, dude, I'm, you know, waddling my legs on this high stool. We got to put a rehydration. Tank Davis would probably be the type of dude that put catch heights on these dudes. That's not even a criteria, but he'd be scared of them heights. That's why he puts weight clauses. Frank Martin has a great chance of beating Tank Davis, man. I was rewatching a little bit of the Hector Luis Garcia fight, right? Hector Luis Garcia is the guy that beat Stephen Colbert or Chris Colbert, and then he went on to beat like Roger Gutierrez, and then he moved up to 135, and he was actually having a little bit of success against Tank, hitting him. But the problem is Hector fights with his hands down, and he tries to shoulder roll punches. Well, Frank Martin is better than that, dude. Frank Martin can actually win 7 rounds. I think he will beat and will be beating Gervonta Davis. I just have to see how Frank Martin reacts to Tank Davis's punches. When Tank Davis puts that high guard and he starts stalking you, and he's in stalking mode and starts digging punches, hooks, over the top shots, I want to see what Frank Martin does. I need to see it. With that being said, that's an amazing undercard, man. David Benavidez, that's another guy that I'm not super high on. He's extremely flawed, but he's really big and he's really strong. All of those advantages that he has against Ronald Gabriel, Caleb Plant, and all of these dudes, Kyron Davis, Ronald Ellis, he's a smaller man against Alexander Volstik. Volstik is the better boxer, better jab. He's equal height, equal arm length to David, punches just as hard with better technique, spars with Canelo. That dude can absolutely beat David Benavidez. I don't know, excuse me. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's a realistic possibility. Carlos Adames should knock out Terrell Guichet. And then, of course, Leon Paul versus Subriel Matias. All of those fights, all of those underdogs stand a really good shot. If you guys have $10, I would parlay those 3 upsets, and you might just squeeze out like 15 grand. It's going to be amazing. I mean, am I fucking wrong, Drew? Oh, man, Drew left, bro. He goes, Drew, 1, 2, 3, getting water from the store real quick. And Hector Garcia is 130-pounder. Yeah, I appreciate you, fellas. Yeah, man, look. Let me see. Let me just say, go to, I use a website called Bovada. Let me go. Sports, here, boxing. Let me just say if I'm wrong. If I were to bet $10 on Vozdik, who's plus 400, Frank Martin 425, and Leon Paul 450, 14,300. If I were to put $10, I would win $1,433, fellas. $10 would win you 1,400 if you went all underdogs. Leon Paro, who's undefeated. Vozdik, who only lost to Artur Beterbiev in his prime. And Frank Martin, another undefeated fighter. I don't know about you, but those are good fucking odds. Like, you know what I mean? That's better than a fucking McDouble meal from McDonald's. But look, fellas, I think I overwelcome my stay. The in-laws are kicking me out. It's 2:40, and I just got fired, for stealing boxes. Nah, I'm just joking, guys. That's Friday, man. But yeah, fellas, thank you guys for tuning in on this amazing Sunday. Speed says that he lost his vocal cords. He can't speak. Apparently, he's sick once again. Drew's thirsty. His throat's parched. He want to go drink some water at the store. And I think I talked about every nonsense news that the sport of boxing brings. But yeah, man, I think that's all I got for you guys, man. Look, Leon Paro's got a great chance of upsetting Subriel Matias. Frank Martin has a great chance of upsetting Tank Davis, and so does Alexander Volstik and upsetting David Benavidez. Heavy is the crown. Heavy is the head that the crown is being worn by. And all of these kings, or these perceived kings, or perceived threats that we think are like the next coming or pound for pound fighters, I have to see it to believe it, man. I don't believe David Benavidez would beat Canelo. Obviously, as Canelo tries to, look for that 200 million, whoever is willing to offer that up, David is only going to get better. So it would behoove Canelo to fight him now rather than when Canelo's 35. Because David is, and I will say this proudly, he is getting better. And he's, training with the likes of Guillermo Rigondeaux, and he's training with all of these other trainers, and he's doing the proper things. But nevertheless, man, he's doing a great job of growing as an athlete, growing as a professional ever since, he was, taking cocaine on strippers' butts. David is doing what he's supposed to be doing as a true professional and being one of the pillars of and faces of the sport of boxing. He's got a great shot of beating Canelo as Canelo perceives to duck him. But yeah, man, if I'm David Benavidez, I'm not even gonna lie. I would personally fake an injury or a sickness and withdraw from fighting Vozdik. I would go fight that dude Scully for the vacated IBF belt at 168, pick up that belt, then fight Canelo. But again, because PBC and these guys don't have matchmakers or any good ones, because they have terrible promoters like Tom Brown, they're not going to do that to David Benavidez. They're probably David Benavidez might just potentially lose to Alexander Volstik, lose all the momentum of being a boogeyman and the mandatory for Canelo and all of his belts when he should withdraw and fight Scully. But regardless, it looks like David, is tougher and has more balls than a matchmaker that I would perceive to, like how I would go about maneuvering his career, like all of these other American fighters navigate their careers. But regardless, David is willing to fight Gvozdyk, who's only lost to Artur Beterbiev. And if he beats him, he's a top 5 candidate at 175, and he possibly will look to fight the undisputed winner and probably lose to the winner of Artur Beterbiev and Bivol. Again, David is moving the way he wants to move. You know, it's worked out excellent for him, but let's not act like these dudes that he's been beating when he's getting all this momentum, they're small guys. Demetrius Andrade moved up in 3 weight classes, got knocked out in 4 rounds. Kyron Davis, Ronald Ellis, these are 154 pounders or middleweights moving up to fight David Benavidez, right? If I'm David Benavidez, I'm withdrawing from this fight. Ooh, fucking Robert Guerrero, bro. He's landing hands on my boy Medrano. But nevertheless, fellas, really interesting fights. Again, I could be wrong about Tank Davis. I just don't think that he's that good. If you're that good, you don't maneuver around your career. You don't. If you're that good, you don't sign with Floyd Mayweather, right? Look how Floyd Mayweather maneuvered Tank. Look how he maneuvered Rolly Romero. If you're that guy, you take on the toughest fights. Tank Davis don't take on tough fights unless he has size advantages or he caps you in every single one of his fights. This is the first fight in a really long time that Tank Davis is going to have to, you know, dig down deep to beat Frank Martin. And I'm not that big of a fan of Frank Martin. Frank Martin can get beat. We saw him against that German dude. He was out getting outboxed. But he showed me something that we all need to see. Is when the going gets tough, can you find a way to get the job done? And he found a way. Same thing like Tank Davis when he found a way against Mario Barrios. I thought Mario Barrios was beating him. And then Floyd Mayweather said some words of encouragement to Tank. And Tank dug down deep, put on a high guard, and started nailing Barrios to body shots and uppercuts. That power is real. I'm not naive about it. David Benavidez' size and power is real. I'm not, you know, trying to downplay the importance of heavy, of heavy hitting. But when it comes down to guys that can match the intensity and have the resume, I look at Frank Martin versus Michel Rivera. That was a beautiful performance, his best performance. When I look at Alexander Gvozdyk, yes, he got beat by Artur Beterbiev, but that was a great fight. And he has tough fights against Jean Pascal. He had tough fights against Adonis Stevenson and put him in a coma. David gets hit a lot. Let me see if you can beat that jab, because this isn't David Lemieux, bro. You right? Leon Paro versus Subriel Matias. That's just me wishful thinking on Leon Paro's side. I have to see it to believe it, because I believe in what Subriel Matias is selling me. I'm a big fan of that dude. I don't know, man. Warp Speed goes uneasy if the head that wears a crown. Uneasy if the head that wears a crown. Yeah, my doctor said I shouldn't make videos anymore. I will lose my voice. Yeah, dude, you should name your channel The Mad Mexican. Yeah, that shit would be fucking funny, dude. Hey, folks. I gotta go to work at 5 a.m. But oh my god, that's fucking funny, dude. Hilarious commentary. But yeah, dude, you try to make your voice sound like Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know, you're gonna find yourself at the end of them bullets. Gervonta Davis says career is a lot like David Benavidez in the sense that they do bring up smaller men to fight. Let me highlight that comment. I couldn't have said it better myself. Look, guys, I agree, man. Look, I like Tank Davis. I love David Benavidez. I love these fighters. Who doesn't like knockout artists? Everybody loves knockout artists. But if we're being real, David Benavidez, like Gervonta Davis, like Speed says it, if you really look at the resume, they've always had the advantages. They've always had the advantages. Name me one fight where Tank Davis never been the underdog. Name me one fight where Tank Davis hasn't had a stipulation on fighters. His only close fight was Ryan Garcia. That's the one that was almost close to 1-1. Tank was still favored, but they fight at a catch weight at 136 pounds. Then he puts a rehydration clause. So when you take all the factors, dead man walking, David Benavidez, he's always been favored in all of his fights. Why is that? Where is the fight where you actually feel this is a legitimate threat to this dude without any stipulations? When are they fighting men their own size? Never. They've always fought. Like, for example, Errol Spence. When he fought Kell Brook, I think they favored Errol Spence, but Kell Brook was equal size, You know, he was coming off the damaged eye and the Triple G ass beating, but he was undefeated essentially as a welterweight. Errol Spence was getting beat by Kell Brook until, you know, the body shots and Kell Brook's eye started to fuck up all over again. But Kell Brook was beating Errol. Tough fight for Errol. Tough fight was Sean Porter versus Errol. If it wasn't for the knockdown, probably Sean Porter wins or it's a draw. Errol Spence knocks him down late. Errol Spence versus Yordenis Ugas. Motorcycle vehicle accident, got ejected, hydroplane. You know, it was the big wreck of 67. You know, Doc Hudson cars situation with Errol Spence. Yordenis Ugas knocks the block, almost knocks him out the ring. Look, tough fight, still dug down deep, gave him a nasty-ass eye. Tough after tough after tough fights. David Benavidez, Tank Davis haven't had that. They haven't been into that situation. Frank Martin has. Even though Frank Martin hasn't really fought a lot of dudes, I think he's got only like 17 fights. These, you know, Tank will have more experience than him. But I'm just saying, where are those fights for Tank and David Benavidez? They're non-existent. Where is their Ergashev, their Dadashev? Where's their Leon Paul? Where's Ponce that Subriel Matias has? Where are those guys on Tank Davis and David Benavidez' resume? Yes, I know Tank Davis has knocked out a lot of undefeated fighters. Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios, Leo Santa Cruz. He's knocked out a lot of undefeated dudes. Pedraza. But again, context. Context matters. These are a couple times where these fighters that have always been the A side, they're going in there in a true 50-50 fight. And at those odds of 5-1, you can risk $10 to win 1,500. You know what I mean? But on that note, guys, happy Sunday. I will see you guys next month. You know, I wish you guys great wealth and great health. But saludos, man. Cheers. And see you guys on the next one.